Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the stream. We're live here in San Francisco. My name is Megan Billy, and I'm here with Andrew Hochradel.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. If you're joining us for the first time, this is Adobe Live. We're live every Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also, we're on other social media. Where can people find us on other social media?
We are on Instagram. Our studio manager will drop the Instagram link right here. And you can follow us on Instagram for all kinds of content. We post quick tips on there. We post links to the stream so you know what's going on, and some silly content as well if you're looking to brighten your day.
Yes, lots of fun. So if you're joining us, just as a heads up, this is where we look and where we work. Chat, you're hanging out over here. So chat, say hi to yourselves. Everyone let us know where you're watching from. I'm waving directly at you, chat hi. And over there's our studio manager. Hi, studio manager. He's off screen.
It's Paco today.
It's Paco today. There we go. Wait, hold on.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Well, he's
studio
messing
manager.
around. We have both the Behance chat and the YouTube chat up. So if you're on Behance, say hi. If you're on YouTube, say hi. We are here with you.
All right, so let's hop into what we're doing today. I have some questions for you, chat. How many of you have dads? Yes, that's right. Wow.
I got one of those.
And what a stream for everyone. We're really accessible here. We are going to be hanging out and creating some assets for Father's Day. And the cool thing is at the end of the stream, I will be generating a QR code that you can scan with your phone and use these templates directly in Adobe Express.
Ooh, freebie.
To send to your father for Father's Day. So let's hop right in. Let's talk about kind of some styles that we're going to explore.
Okay.
Dads are from all ages.
Yes.
How old is your dad? When was your dad born?
What did I just say? He was born in 63. So
Okay,
he's
63. So yes. My dad was born in 52. So he is older. Yes. So what we're going to do is I want to create something for a dad of every age, and we're going to be going through different eras to try to do different design styles and explore different design styles for you to use to send a little card to your dad for Father's Day. So let's hop in, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to use Adobe Firefly to generate some cool references to kind of look at what some styles could have been at that time.
Okay.
So are there any dads, do you think, that are 103, 104?
Could be.
Could be dads that are 104.
Grandpas.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a 1920 style. I really just wanted to do a 1920 style, and so that's where we're going to be. All right.
I'm so excited to
right?
see what this
So
is.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1920s graphic design poster.
Okay. And we're in Adobe Firefly.
We're in Adobe Firefly, and we're just going to use this for reference. So we're going to do 1920s graphic design poster, and let's definitely do some gold. Let's do some diamond shapes, kind of like that.
Like Gatsby-esque.
Yes, very Great Gatsby that happened however many years ago. That was very Art Deco 1920s.
Yes.
So let's see. If this isn't going to get something that is on brand with what we want, I might put Art Deco in here to reference. Oh, this is 100% what we want. So I think that these are looking pretty good and really cool to kind of get some reference.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like these colors too. This like deep blue is very like Father's, and the gold is very like regal.
Yes.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of riff off this design, and we're gonna go into Adobe Illustrator, make some of these shapes, and then we'll import it into Adobe Express by just copy and pasting over. Super easy.
Super easy. We have some dads in the chat that I want to say hi to.
Dads
hi,
in
Jeff.
chat, what's up? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to just download this real quick.
Okay.
Copy image, it is going to apply those content credentials for me, and then we'll paste it over here in Illustrator. So I'm going to size this up, and let's do a nice little 1080 by 1080.
You got your mind on 1920.
I do. I like really want to do like a story, but we're gonna do these as posts. Do we do posts or do we do stories?
We do posts on our Instagram. We do
I don't know, like for dads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are dads on Instagram?
You know what? Yeah, dads aren't making reels. let's be real here. Dads aren't making reels, so we'll make some posts. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I definitely want to sample these colors, and the best way to do that is to just make a bunch of boxes here, and then we're actually going to use the color theme picker tool. And what I want to do is I'm just going to make these some random colors.
This is my favorite trick that you've ever taught me.
Really?
Yeah.
Of just getting color schemes?
Yeah, I use this all the time.
So that's so cool. That makes me really happy. Yay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all of these and then I'm going to go to edit. I'm gonna go to edit colors and recolor artwork. From there, we're going to click on the little color theme picker tool and then click here and check that out. We've got an awesome color palette just from right there.
That's amazing. This is how I picked my wedding colors, by the way, if you were wondering.
Oh my goodness. Marriage.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah, I want to see all of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop in here. I definitely want to start with that background in that nice little dark blue color.
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start building a little library for us to use. And I'm going to select these colors and then come to libraries, and we are going to do a new library and then just call it Father's Day.
Okay, so that way it's easy to get into Adobe Express once we get to that stage, yeah?
Yes, and I'm gonna kind of do different groups so that we can use these colors. So I'm gonna do a group here and we're gonna do Art Deco. And then with all these selected, I am going to hit plus. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. Do I need to do these individually?
Yeah.
Chat, if you can, there is another way to do this and I don't know how to do it. Add to library. Is that gonna add the shape? That's gonna add the shape.
I always just do it individually.
All right, here we go.
My head is in the way.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Here we go. Well, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Studio Manager has it. Thanks, Studio Manager. All right. So I'm just going to add these in here, and this will help me in the future when I get into Adobe Express, just be able to pick colors because I know that I'm going to be adding type, maybe some animation, maybe some audio, some music. So I have our colors there. So now let's start doing some of this like border work that I think is happening here.
Yep.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just make some compound paths. And I might do I don't want gradients. I might use gradients. We'll see what happens.
I feel like we want them. I don't know.
I feel like we do
I
as
love
well.
a gradient.
So I'm just gonna take these two shapes and hit Command or Control 8. And right there, it's going to give me this nice little like border. So the next is this kind of like circle vibe that's happening here. I know that I want to put some text in the middle and then maybe some diamonds on the side. So I'm going to do those circles, but I'm going to try to have them come around and then hit this little angle that's happening here. So very reminiscent of our inspiration and kind of the sketch there is I'm going to use the ellipse tool here to kind of just build out these shapes.
You and your hotkeys.
Yes, hotkeys. So I will call them out, chat. If you ever see something that I am using that you're like, wait, how did he do that? Please just ask me. I'm hitting S here to do scaling. And I actually have my scale, strokes, and effects off. And so what it's doing now is it is making it the same size. So if I scale this down, it's the same size stroke. I want it to get smaller as I go.
Right.
So I'm going to hit another hotkey. Command K is going to take me to my hotkeys. And I can come down here, and then I'm going to go to General and Scale, Strokes, and Effects. We'll hit OK, and now as I get smaller, you'll see that it's actually taking that stroke down a little bit.
Ooh, that makes a really cool effect.
All right, so right there, right, a little like...
trippy.
Yes. Sonos actually has, this is a very, very side tangent. Sonos has really great branding, and it's a bunch of these, but like very like tightly wound. So when you look at it, it kind of vibrates and like creates like visual sound waves.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who's our moderator? Wade, if you can find a case study about Sonos and their new branding, that would be really cool. And then chat can know what I'm talking about and not be like, wow, he's really specific. Yeah.
Your homework for today.
Yes,
Read
please
that.
help
Read
me
up.
chase these
Study
rabbit
up.
trails. All right, so we got this cool little vibe here. And now I want to take these and kind of push them off to the edge. And I think that I want them to actually to hit like perfectly on these edges here. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of bring this in using the pen tool. And I'm hitting P to grab the pen tool. And now what I can do is just add some anchor points to these circles and then delete what's in the middle. So we're going to use the pen tool here to just add an anchor point on either side, grab this center piece right here, and delete. Boom. Check it out. Now I've got that really cool kind of look. And actually, I'm not mad about doing something like this. So we're going to do a little like double here, which I think will be really interesting. And what I want to do is I need to pull out a guide right there, and boom. And then we'll probably take this into Adobe Express in just a second so that we can create a template and start putting some text on it.
Wade got the case study.
Thank you, Wade. All right.
Cool. This is looking really cool.
Yeah, I'm not mad about this. So I do want to add maybe some little diamonds up here. And so what I'm going to do, this is a really easy hack, is we are going to hit M to grab the square tool or the rectangle tool. We are going to pull out a rectangle. And right now it's a stroke. With that selected, all you have to do is hit Shift X, and it is going to flip the stroke in the fill. So now it is filled in. And then we will use the pen tool to just hover over here and remove one of those sides. Now we got a nice little corner. We can pull out from the corner, and boom. Father's Day. Easy peasy. I'm going to rotate using that R for the rotate tool, and then we'll just make sure those are aligned there. Okay, I think that looks good. And then maybe we do...
I feel like it needs like one more diamond. It's giving me a little bit Mickey Mouse vibes.
Oh, it is giving Mickey Mouse vibes. Okay, so maybe let's just turn these to strokes. So let's turn these to strokes.
Yes, that looks good.
And then
ooh, yes.
I'm going to move these in just a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. No. There we go. And then I agree. We do need like one more element to kind of pull it together.
Yeah.
And maybe that element is this. Is this going to make it more Mickey Mouse?
Let's just try it.
It's gonna make it more Mickey Mouse, I think. Let's see. No, I think it's good.
That looks good.
It feels like strong and like Battle Dad.
Yeah. Okay.
It
does look like Battle Dad.
It looks like Battle Dad. All right, that's fine.
I like it.
That's fine. All right, so this looks good to me, and what I can actually do is I can save this and take it directly into Adobe Illustrator. Excuse me. Adobe Express is the word that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this other artboard here. And I'm going to save this file. Now there's like 2 or 3 different ways that we could do this. We could just copy and paste. We could put it into our library, which I think I'm going to do. But I want to show you this real quick, is I could save this out, and we're just going to save this as maybe 20s. And then we're going to skip a bunch of decades, because there are some boring decades in graphic design. And now I can come into Adobe Express here, and I have my Express document. But I want to start from that Illustrator file, so I'm going to go Start from Your Content, and then click on 20s right here, and we're going to open. And that will actually change it and convert it into a new file. So we're going to edit the Illustrator file in a new file, and it will convert it into Adobe Express for us.
Yeah, I like this option rather than bringing it in from the library too, because then you can edit it a little. You have like a little bit more control.
Yes.
This way.
I liked that sentence. Edit it a little. Edit it a little.
Editable.
Edit it a little. That's a good little warm up. Edit it a little. Okay. And someone's saying, but it's not Mickey Mouse. It's Art Deco Danger Clock. Yes, that is it. Thank you. So yes, now it is here. It is a locked group. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock this so that I can change it. And now it is a group of all these elements. If I wanted to ungroup, check this out. You can see that I can actually come in here and select all of these different options. It has a border on it, so it's brought in all those different strokes. If I wanted to, I could rotate this, and you see, just like Illustrator, it's pulled in all of those individual shapes, which is really cool for us to use.
Yep, lots of control.
All right, so this is going to be our page 1 of our document. We are going to rename this Father's Day template. Is there an apostrophe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the Father's
It's the Day of Fathers. The fathers own the day.
They own the day.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and add in some text here. And what are some things people said during the 20s? Chat, we need some yeah, we need some like, swell, kid. Some of that stuff. Can you look up some common phrases of the 1920s, right? It's like, you got a lot of moxie. That's probably what I'm going to put. So let us know, chat, what are some phrases from the 20s that we could use?
I got a lot of moxie.
Yes.
We have to say it like that.
Yeah, we got a lot of moxie. Oh, okay, Bauhaus does. 30s was great with Bauhaus, and then we went into Vestigial. Yes, I was throwing shade. I literally taught graphic design history, so like, don't think that I'm looking over things. I just get bored in the middle. All right, so let's go ahead and add our text here. And let's say... you got a lot of moxie.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sorry, the microphone is like on the side of my keyboard. I'm gonna move the Star Studio Manager. Okay, I was reaching my pinky like behind the microphone. You got a lot of moxie. Thanks, Paco.
Not my favorite type. Just saying.
No, it's not great. Not great at all. Thank you. And Wade is just curious. No wallpapers, templates, and composites. No, that is. We're making.
That's the theme of the
templates
day.
now. Yes, we're making templates right now, and then after this, we'll be doing some compositing, and then after that, after this, we're doing some wallpapers, and then after that, we're doing some compositing, and then we're coming back to more wallpapers at the end of the day.
So stick around.
Yes.
If you want to see it all, Jeff.
I dare you. All right, so you got a lot of moxie, and I do want to find like a cool like Art Deco 20s. So I'm just gonna actually search here and do like deco and see if anything comes up.
That second one. It's kind of.
Oh wait, there's a whole category.
Our heads are in the way.
Art Deco.
Hey.
Thanks.
Okay, click it.
All right. Look at all these options we have. And what's cool is it is syncing all of Adobe fonts for us. Ooh. Okay, great, love it. Let's see, maybe something like this. I like that, right?
That's it.
Okay, so we have different options here. We have hairline. Let's do this one. That's too much.
Go back.
Oh my goodness, we have so many options here. So let's do maybe this to give us, yes, that's a nice little line weight. I think that looks good to me. And I'm gonna put of maybe in that right there, right?
Sure.
Cool. You got a lot of moxie. Why are we like this? Okay, so I think this is good. I do want to bring in one of those other colors though. Yeah. So I'm gonna select this and we are going to go to fill, and then I'm going to go, check it out, additional colors, Father's Day.
There they are.
Automatically pulled it in from us from the library that we had created. So let's maybe see this darker gold.
No.
No?
Wait, yeah, I like it.
Okay, yes, we like it. And then maybe let's do this. Let's change some of these to that darker gold as well. And I'm just going to change the order by right-clicking and then going to bring to front. Okay, I'm not mad about this. And then maybe one of these middle circles also goes to that darker color. Yes. Okay, we got some good dimension.
Wow.
Good vibes here.
This
looking
is fun.
good. I'm not mad about it. I also am going to change these little ones here. All right, so from here, I think we look good. Do we want to put like any like dad thing on here? Do we do like?
Yeah. What is like? Oh, maybe like a little like whiskey glass.
Ooh, yeah. I like that. So I could go and make this into in Adobe Illustrator, but I'm going to do it over in Adobe Express. I'm just going to come here and we are going to search in Elements, and then we are going to look at.
Go to icons. Try
icons. Yes. Icons and do like, I'm gonna do whiskey and see what happens.
You know, whiskey's like 20s.
Okay.
Oh, I like that one with the ice ball in it.
This one?
Yeah.
Yes. So there we go.
Nice.
We have this icon here and we're going to change the fill to maybe that same kind of look. And then we'll put it maybe up here.
You can change this out when you guys get the template.
Yes, if your
dad doesn't drink whiskey.
If your dad is not a drinker or not of
a whiskey person.
Yes. Or not of drinking age.
No.
Dads could be under 21, right? That could be a thing.
They could be.
Okay.
But not if your dad's from the 20s.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if your dad's from the 20s, he's probably also not drinking whiskey. Or he is. He's like, you know what? That's it.
Live your life.
And then maybe let's do another type right here that says like, hey, dad.
Yeah.
It was Daddy-O. Daddy-O wasn't until like the 60s, right?
I don't know.
When we're like poodle skirts, right? That's like, hey, Daddy-O. No? Nobody's ever said that?
Can we do poodle skirt inspired later? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that. But we could say like old sport.
Oh, yes. I like that. Does it need to be all caps?
Old sport. No.
Okay. So the old sport, I like that. And maybe let's do it a little bit of a different version. Okay. And then shrink it down. And then we'll bring it up here. All right. I'm not mad about this at all.
Cute. I love this.
Old
did
sport,
it.
you got a lot of moxie. All right, boom, we got it. And someone's saying he's possibly a granddad as well. I agree.
Yes.
And yes, Prohibition was in the 20s, but that didn't mean people weren't drinking whiskey. All right. Prohibition was a little bit loosey-goosey on there actually being
Move on
no
to
drinks.
the next decade.
So let's go ahead and we're going to just add a page here. So we're going to click on add and we're going to do the same size. So the next era that we want to jump to is I think that I want to go to like maybe the 60s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
And the predominant designers of the 50s, 60s were Saul Bass and Paul Rand. You're probably familiar with their styles. It's very like kind of cut paper look. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hop back into Illustrator and build out some elements that we can use in this style.
Okay.
And so let's take some reference here and let's try to do like 60s, mid-century, century graphic design.
I love that we're getting a history lesson here too in this stream.
If you've ever watched any of my streams, you get history. And so it's saying the underground rave of that generation. Yes, it's true. So let's see what happens here with a 60s mid-century graphic design. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely in that style. Saul Bass was a little more loosey-goosey and a little more like, I don't know. Let's see if we can get, like, I'm just going to do in Adobe stock, we're going to do like a Saul Bass style and see if there's anything that is Saul Bass inspired. No. Just a guy playing the bass.
90s.
It's just guys like with the basses that are like, hey, what's up? Okay, I'm going to pull a reference real quick. If we can go back to headshots. Megan, do you have anything that you'd like to plug that's coming up on Adobe Live?
Oh, what is going on Adobe Live? Well, like we said, today's theme is wallpaper, what else? Templates, which we're doing right now, and compositing. The schedule is up now. So stick around. We have lots of fun things going on today. And everything's like a little summery themed because it's summer now in San Francisco. Yesterday was like 80 degrees, if you were wondering, if you're not in San Francisco. Now I'm just rambling.
Can we did it.
Andrew's
All right,
screen?
we're back, baby. All right, so here's what we're going to do is we are going to kind of replicate this style. So this is Saul Bass.
This is different than what came up.
Very different than what came up. So very kind of mid-century, 50s, 60s. And I want to create a little pattern. So we're just going to make a copy of this artboard. I hit Shift-O there to grab the artboard tool. We're going to click and drag holding Option and Shift to give us a new artboard. And then from here, I am going to, zoom out. And we are going to start kind of making some shapes. So I want to create a pattern for a background, and then we can have type that like goes over it. And so what I like to do is I'm going to just make some random colors right now, and then we will come back and use Adobe Color to actually find some good colors. So let's do a purple. And then what I want to do is kind of create these free form, very like angular looks.
Okay.
And we're going to create maybe like an argyle kind of pattern. Ooh, I'm thinking about trying something I've never tried before.
Do it.
Okay, so there's a little hack that you can use to randomize shapes. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to create a pattern and then randomize the points on the shapes to like augment it to make it look wonky.
We're getting crazy.
There is I'd give this like a 10% chance of actually working.
Okay.
So I'm gonna create my little diamond there, and then we're gonna create a pattern just holding Option and Shift, and then hit Command D to duplicate that a bunch of times.
Okay.
Is this going to work? This isn't gonna work.
It's gonna work.
Okay. So I'm just gonna try it with these, and then we'll like replicate it again. So with all these selected, I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to go to Transform. No, Edit. Edit, Transform. No. Where are you? Object, there it is. Literally the first one. Take me away. Then we're gonna go to Transform Each. What this is gonna do is it's gonna transform each of these pieces and hopefully each of the points. This isn't gonna work.
Do it. See if it works.
Okay.
If not, we'll start over, right?
Yes.
Easy.
Okay, so what you can do here is you can click on Random, And what that's going to do is it is going to randomize the scale of all these. So let's do the smallest scale is going to be 80. And then move, we're going to do like 10 pixels by 10 pixels. And we should be able to randomize those. Oh, it's because it's grouped. Hold on. All right. This isn't going to work. So we're going to do randomize. We are going to do 80, 80. Okay, it is scaling them randomly, which is what we want. But I want to move specific points. Okay, this is a good start. This is a good start. Okay, so I am going to take this down to like 60 and 60 just to make them a little bit smaller. And then we're going to hit OK.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is going to work. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just grab some of these anchor points. Actually, this will totally work. I'm just going to grab random anchor points.
The journey we've been on the last 2 minutes.
This is so crazy. And I'm going to go to Edit. We're going to do Object Transform, transform each again, and then we're going to, it's scaling the whole shape, isn't it?
Kind of.
Hold on. Is it? It is. All right, that didn't work. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to grab these that I had selected, and boom, we'll make them wonky.
Okay.
So works for me.
It did make some wonky.
Boom. Made them wonky. That's about what we want.
Okay. It halfway worked.
It worked just enough. And I'm going to change that to maybe a stroke. And you'll see there that we're starting to get that kind of Saul Bass style. Not perfect, but close enough.
I feel like the colors are throwing you off.
All right, hold on.
They're throwing me off.
Here's what we're doing. All right.
We deleted it.
Saul Bass style is we're just going to create this kind of like Argyle pattern. What's the not Argyle? Tartan?
These are words I don't know.
What's the like a checkerboard, like a picnic pattern?
Oh, I don't know.
That's going to kill me.
Chat,
okay.
tell us if
Chat,
you know.
tell us, please. I am going to come in here and do a little custom brush so it looks like we've kind of painted it. So we're going to go to maybe a
diamondback wonky snake.
Yes,
a non-technical term, but yes.
I'm going to do charcoal pencil. This is going to give me some cool little, just a little bit of texture to work there.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, that's cool. And we're just going to do kind of a checkerboard, but keep these very, very loosey-goosey.
I see. Okay.
Right, so it's like everything's a little bit off, but it's still trying to do...
Like it's cohesive, but like off.
Yes. As if somebody kind of did it by hand. That was kind of the vibe of this era, was everything kind of looked like it was hand done. And we're just going to do this as a checkerboard. What is happening with my sizing? All right. The time we're spending is not worth it, but that's fine. It's fine.
Your
what do we
dad
have?
better love this style.
Yeah, we got 25 minutes. We can do at least one more era. Chat, if you have an era that you would like to see, or Megan, do you have an era that you'd like to see?
I'm a 90s baby, so maybe 90s.
90s? Are we like 90s grunge or like...
I mean, me specifically, yes. 90s grunge.
Okay, great. So we have our kind of cool, weird strokes here that I think is looking pretty,
looks cool.
Right? It's pretty cool. Now, this is where the colors are going to really come in to help us, is I'm going to go to color.adobe.com, and this is going to allow me to explore, and then I can search here. So we're going to search here, and we're just going to search Saul Bass and see if there's anything that has like pulled reference. Or actually, let's just do like retro 50s.
This one looks okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I want like this. This is very, ooh, this is not Father's Day, but I like that. I love these colors right here.
That can be Father's Day.
Yeah.
People like pink.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your input. I hear what you're saying.
If you're a father and you
it.
like pink, please put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Prove me right.
Yeah, pink dads. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I want like something that has that like rustic kind of look. So what I can do here is I just added that whole library from Adobe Color directly into Adobe Illustrator.
And it's part of the library that we already established.
Yes, and what's cool is I can just click. Sorry, you guys can't hear this, but there's a weird sound happening that sounds like a ghost is just like floating through the rafters.
They also like pink. The ghosts like pink.
The ghosts are like, use pink. So we are going to select this stroke here, and then maybe I want it to be like this, or maybe like, I don't want the blue. That's going to be too light. That's just a gross color.
Oh, you know what would look good?
What?
Salmon pink.
Okay.
Wade agrees.
All right, here we go. We're going back, and we're going to do the salmon pink for Megan right here.
And Wade. Thank you, Wade.
Add to library. It is going to sync to that Father's Day library for me. And then from here, we are going to do that hot pink background.
Oh, looks good.
I'm not mad about it. And
I feel like every time we stream together, we fight. And chat always agrees with me.
That's okay. All right, I think that looks
so cool.
Fine. Cool. And I do think we're gonna add some like cool blue stars and stuff. Wait, this is gonna be good.
Yep.
Okay.
See.
Duh. All right, so what I'm gonna do this time is I am just going to copy and paste this. So we're gonna copy, Control C, come back to our Adobe Express document, and Control V to paste that in there.
Ooh, that looks so fun. I love it.
It does. It does. You're not wrong. All right. In fact, you might be right.
Yep.
So what we're going to do here is we are going to now add some elements. So let's come into elements. Let's stay in those icons that we have, and let's type in like retro star.
Cool. Let's see it.
I want some like mid-century, like very...
I know what you're talking about. None
right.
of these are doing it for me.
None of these are right.
Try mid-century, modern.
Okay.
Mid-century.
Mid-century. Ooh, and we can get like the little like circle.
I think you have to say star.
Well, let's do like, yeah. I'm gonna try it. There we go. What? Come on. Let's go to design assets and see what happens there.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh, there's some elements happening here. Not exactly what I want. That's fine. I love
this vibe, though.
I do too. Okay. All right, here we go. Back in Illustrator. Chat, it's not an icon that is there, but guess what? It's about to be free for you.
He's got to do it himself.
The things that I do for you.
Yep, Wade said, just make your own star in Illustrator, Andrew.
Okay, calm down, Wade.
Oh my gosh.
All right, here we go. This is super easy to do.
Oh, it already looks so much cooler than
yes, it's true. So we're gonna do this, and it is worth it.
Yeah,
all right,
so easy.
Boom, so easy. And what I'm actually gonna do is, I don't want to show you that. All right, I'm just gonna make little circles. There's another like really complicated way to do this, but it's gonna be so much faster for me just to make these circles, and I definitely want to try to get another style in.
I feel like it doesn't need it to be on all of them.
What? That's like the whole thing.
Okay.
Right?
Sorry.
Like, haven't you seen the clock?
No.
We do just fight on streams. That is our whole vibe, is we're just fighting on streams.
We're actually really good friends, you guys.
It's true. Yeah, we're totally besties. All right. So I think that this looks pretty cool. I am going to expand this because I want it to be one shape for you all, and then I'll use my Pathfinder tool to just join it together. So now it's all one shape. We can copy it, and then we can paste it into our document. And just like that, we have... Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I do want to change the color of it. And what we can do is we can actually go to Effects and then do a duotone and just make it the same tone. So you can see all of my colors here, which is great.
Father's Day colors.
Yep. And do we make it this blue?
Ooh.
Orange.
No.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Okay.
Wait, what do you like?
Nothing.
Okay. None of them. Literally none of them.
No, I was going to say you have to change the highlight color. That looks good.
Okay. So we're going to do this blue here and kind of bounce it around, and maybe we have one up here, and then maybe we do another version that's like over here and rotate it a little bit. This is pretty fun.
This is fun.
Yeah, we do need a star, so I'm going to create a star, and here's how you do that. We're going to make a square. We're going to select it. We're going to go to Effect. We're going to go to Distort and Transform, Pucker and Bloat, and then just pull that. Boom.
Ooh,
Easy peasy. All right, so we're going to copy that, paste it over here. Actually, what color do we want that to be?
Maybe like that brownish color.
The gold?
Is that gold? Yeah.
Okay. Yep, fun. All right, so add in some little sparkles here. Not mad about that.
What decade is this?
It's kind of gone into the 60s.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Think of 60 things to say. 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Chat.
What was
You
happening
keep
in
designing.
the 60s? Okay, I'll keep
We'll
designing.
think about it. Chat and I will think about it.
Thank you, chat. Please help me. All right, I'm going to make a little like weird oblong shape here. And then we're going to round out the corners just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this white for sure. But then I'm going to do another one that kind of goes over it. How does this shape work? Boom. Boom. And then connect back over here.
Oh, I know what you're doing. I see it.
Right?
I
This
see the
cool,
vision.
yeah, this cool little, and this will probably be, this is going to be really busy, but I think it'll be cool.
Cool, busy.
I don't know. I'm new here.
I have a thing for you.
Yes.
I can't start a fight though, promise.
Okay.
People are saying that Moxie is spelled Moxie.
Okay. All right, that's fine. See, okay, this is,
that looks so good, Andrew.
I'm kind of good at
I'm
this.
impressed.
See, you just have to wait.
It was like, yeah, the vision was there by you.
Yes.
I think you need to move that little star down. Not
this
to tell
one?
you what to do, but yeah.
I'm going to actually move it up above the layers right there.
Even better.
Right?
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
This is very this is 60s. We went all the way to the 60s because this is a very 60s diner.
I love it.
Right? That it's
I love it.
that diner you go to and like everyone's mad at you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this looks fun. All right, everybody calm down. Moxie?
Moxie. There we go. Fixed. Done.
Got it.
Okay.
Chat, we have literally 15 minutes.
Okay. We can do it.
All right, so this one is very like Happy Days.
Yeah.
Dads love the fawns. Should we just be like, hey?
Hey, happy Father's Day. Hey.
Pops. Yeah, let me be like Happy Father's Day, Pops. Okay.
Yep, okay.
So let's do this. Let's go to text, and then we're going to search text here. And this we want to be like diner.
Yeah, like diner menu.
Wait, what am I doing? I'm not even looking for fonts. Okay. Let's add our text here. And now let's actually do this in the right place and look for some fonts. I'm just going to do it here, and we're going to do diner. See if anything comes up here.
Try 60s.
Okay.
I feel like.
Yep, let's do 60s. No, what am I looking for? I'm looking for like a script for sure. Maybe
a script?
Yeah. Like, hold on. When I show you, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's totally what you want.
Okay. I trust you.
It's not that. Okay. Cursive stencil. No, I'm going to go to Adobe Fonts and see if I can find it. So fonts.adobe.com. We may be able to search here. Just a little bit of a different way to search things. I don't know what just happened. Okay. So we're going to go to Browse All. And then I know that I want like a very thick script. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down here. We're going to do script. We're going to do very, very thick weight and kind of find.
What about that one right there?
What I want. Which one?
Oh, go up.
This one?
No.
Nope.
Up.
One more?
Up. Right there. This one. See where my finger's pointing.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Well.
You don't like it?
No, I love it.
Okay.
This is by Hoodspa Design.
Ooh,
so
our
Hoodspa Design,
friends.
our friends, they actually just posted a story today. If you want to go check out their profile on Instagram, they posted a story of a zine that we created here with Adobe Live called Half Page. And this, Beverly Drive, is one of their fonts and also featured on the cover of the magazine, which if you want to go over.
I didn't even plan this.
Okay, can you go over the schedule one more time? I'm going to run and I'm going to grab one so you can see it. Chat.
Okay, he's going to run. And actually what I'm going to say is if you don't already follow us on Instagram, please follow us on Instagram because we will be posting all about it today, all about the zine. And here it is for your...
and it's green, so it's literally keying out. What joy. All right, here it is, chat. Check it out. This is the half-page zine. We have to put it over Megan's face. The half-page zine, it is green, but look how cool it looks in purple. So they created that, and right here at the bottom, that is the font that Megan picked, right there. Thanks, Megan. All right.
Yay.
So if you want one of those.
All right, back to this.
Back to this. If you want one of those, go to an Adobe event. We have some at the events. All right. Beverly Drive right. I think it looks good. And I believe that that is indeed in Adobe Express.
The name is also so perfect for this theme.
So they are named after famous places in San Francisco.
Oh.
Or sorry, in Southern California.
LA, I was going to say.
Gosh.
Like
and
LA.
so there are a couple. Palm Canyon is another one of those that I actually drive on all the time.
Wait, this is so good. This
It's
is
so good.
perfect. Okay, what did we say?
And then it says
Happy Father's Day, Pops.
Happy Father's Day, Pops.
Day, ... Pops.
That's too long though.
Happy Father's Day, comma?
Yes, like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we need like a soda bottle.
We do like a little soda can. That's fun.
Pops.
Okay. So we are going to, there's some issues here, so I'm going to change the spacing. I'm going to come in here and then just change the line spacing to give us some nice space there.
Yep.
We are going to align this in here, and then I probably want to make it one of our colors, right?
Sure.
So let's make it pink. Yeah?
I love that pink. I was right.
Okay. Wait, the red maybe.
Oh yeah, the red.
Yeah, okay. Wait, the blue?
No, the red.
Okay, the red. And then we want to put like a little soda can.
Yes.
So let's go into elements here and let's do soda can. And I want like a good like retro kind of soda, right?
Type in retro.
Oh.
Retro soda can. Nope.
Let's
That's
do like
the car.
a bottle.
Yeah, retro bottle.
And yes, very Route 66, totally. And someone said, Dorothy, I've learned so much in the 5 minutes. Moxie is the correct spelling, not Moxie. Thanks for learning and thanks for helping me with my spelling.
And we also learned something from you.
See, we're learning together. That's what we want here. All right, none of these are great, but I'm not mad about this one.
Okay.
Right?
We could like change the color a little too in the effects, yeah? No?
We'll find out.
What a funny noise.
That was the helium in my body escaping. All right,
Let's just try it.
We're gonna go to effects. We are gonna go to custom, and this is maybe gonna work.
It is. You keep saying it's not, and it is. Change the highlights.
All right. I'm not mad about it.
Let's see. Again.
Again.
Right.
Again.
That one. I like that one.
All right, cool. That's pretty good. Let's put this here, and then let's definitely shrink this down a little bit.
Cute.
Cute. All right, done. Chat, what is our next?
We got to do 90s in like...
Oh, that's cool.
10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. 90s in 10 minutes.
90s in 10 minutes.
Okay, we're going like grungy, like 90s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Skater Boy, Avril Lavigne.
I just saw Avril Lavigne last week. It was awesome. Greatest hits tour, baby.
Wow.
All right, so what I'm gonna do here is we are going to do, like it has to be like flippant and be like, let's just do like whatever, Dad, right?
Yeah.
Wait, can we do something like, what, like when we used to use like 8 and like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
When it's
like skates, like it was like SK.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever, Dad, and it's like, it's so small.
I know. Can I do it that way?
Yes.
Did we do that?
Yes, we did that. Whatever.
Okay.
So good. Okay.
So we're gonna do just some random fonts here, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna select one and that one. So this was very much the 90s vibe, is kind of just like random stuff thrown together here.
I'm feeling nostalgic.
Right? It's taking me back. All right. Yes. Very, very that.
Wait, this looks so good. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, keep me a countdown, please.
Now we have 9 minutes.
That's not that one. All right, and then I'm just gonna sample some of these top ones to kind of get that vibe down here. Okay, here we go. Cool. Why am I doing this here? Yeah, it's probably faster. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to just bring, I was like, what? Why don't I do this in Express? All right, so we're gonna do this here, and actually I'm gonna change the size of these. Oh, my little hotkeys aren't working. Okay. I have my mouse also changed so that I have like buttons on my mouse that can change the font size.
Goodness.
So I'm gonna use the touch type tool here. If you haven't used it, super helpful. We are just going to select each of these letters, and then we're able to like rotate or change the size of them or move them around. So it still stays live as text, but you can kind of create this really cool effect to kind of pull everything together.
That's a good little hot tip.
Especially for this style.
Yeah.
Because it would take so much time to like rotate these and change them all on their own. And look I literally am doing this with one hand because I got bored. Okay. Sorry, I'm just channeling my 90s.
The sass.
Whatever.
Whatever.
All right, so what we're gonna do for 90s, we're gonna do like lots of grunge and texture. So we're gonna go to media. We're going to go to grunge texture.
Like that grainy look.
Yes. There we go. Easy. And then what we're gonna do is like put in some other like random stuff. I'm just gonna do like magazine.
Oh.
Actually,
like,
let's do
magazine like ad or something like that.
Brick. Yeah.
I like how you said that.
And then we'll throw in like this, but it'll be like only in the corner. The cool thing about 90s is you can kind of just like throw stuff around and then it's like, yeah, that's like so 90s.
We need like a little like a girl that has like makeup and like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, wait, I want like, yeah, let's do, let's see if we can get like somebody like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Remove that background.
Yeah, what's great is I'm gonna do this and then we're gonna remove the background. There we go. Yes. Okay, and then like blow this up and then we're gonna like multiply it. Got it.
Oh, it's too good.
Right? And then I'm gonna do some pen scribbles. So like this kind of thing right here. And we're
Chaotic.
gonna,
I love
how
it.
much time do I have? Okay.
You're good. You're good. We got like 7 minutes.
Great. Okay. I'm actually gonna bring this down here too. And then maybe we wanna do like, I definitely need to do like the scribble stars. Right?
Sure.
Like everyone would do like little in there. Oh, yeah.
Those.
These are actually, it's funny because these are the stars I was looking for the other one. Like
but
that
not
style
as, like,
star.
drippy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is so fun.
Okay, great. Love it. Don't love the brick here. It's so good. All right, let's bring in our text.
Wait, the whatever dad's gonna look so good.
Copy and paste that.
I'm dead.
And here, let's make this like red. No, let's make it pink because it'll be like very Avril. Okay, so we're gonna go here and we're just gonna click right there. And now we got
gosh.
pink. I am gonna send it behind the scribbles. Yeah. Okay.
Please send this to your dad. after
Please,
this.
please send this to your
And
dad.
I want like reaction videos from your dad being like, "This is the card you got me." Yeah, dad. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, dad.
Whatever, dad.
Okay, and then let's do maybe. I need like one more element. What's like a '90s thing that we can do? This is like just throwing me into MySpace.
Oh my gosh. What is a 90s thing that's not already on there?
I know. Like, what was in the like grungy? Oh, skulls.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like a little skull and crossbone moment.
Mm-hmm. Like the rhinestone skulls.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe
Wait.
we could do a text to image.
Yeah,
I don't
can
know.
I-
Mess around.
Wait, hold on. Okay, let's do that. So let's do text effects. Let's go into text effects right here. And then what I'm gonna do is okay, what do I want to do? Hold on. I'm gonna add text. Okay, let's do this.
Oh.
Okay. So you can actually do emojis. If you didn't know this, you can do the base guy. You can do emojis in text effects. So I'm gonna come back here.
What?
We're gonna go to Adobe Express, and text effects should be right here. And then in the prompt, you can actually just put in emoji, skull emoji.
What?
Wait. Tell us you want. That's not what I want. Okay, let's do this. Wait,
what?
Does it not work anymore? Hold on, wait. Oh no.
No. Well, that might be one of the ones that isn't compatible, but some of them are. Some of the emojis are.
I've definitely seen that happen before. Okay, we can't do that.
Okay.
So let's do,
Yes, Wade. One of those S's that is, you know what I
oh,
mean?
like a little Stussy? I think that's what they were called, right?
I don't know. You could make one in Illustrator in the next 4 minutes.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Challenge.
Don't say anything.
Well, I have to say something.
Because chat, I'm gonna show you a trick. Hold on, this is gonna be the cut down. Hey everybody, welcome to Adobe Live. I'm gonna show you how to make a really cool S from the 90s. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna make 3 lines, hold Option and Shift to duplicate that 3 times. You're gonna bring it down so that we have a little space between those lines. Then you're gonna use the pen tool to connect these edges to each other on either side. From here, you're gonna grab your pen tool and hold Shift to make a 90-degree angle. Actually, you're not. You're just gonna bring it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that.
Bring it up and then connect those 2 points. And then down here, you're gonna connect these 2 points. And there you go. And if you want to, you can even close it out right here.
No.
No?
True 90s is just right across.
Oh, right across. You go this way?
Yeah, duh.
Oh, okay. I never did that.
What did you do?
I just left it open.
Loser.
Okay. And then we have this. We'll paste it into Adobe Express right here.
Yes.
Wait, that's so great.
Do like 2 of them side by side. You never just drew one.
Like this?
Like down a little more.
Like over here?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm gonna put a skull and crossbones right there.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go to media. We're gonna do elements actually, and I'm gonna do scribble skull. Did I already try this?
I don't know. That's not bad. You have 2 minutes.
I know. Okay. These are all like 2. Wait, there it is. There it is. That's it.
This is too good. This is my favorite one, even though it's like.
All right, so now what I'm going to do, chat, I'm going to do this. I am going to share this with you, and we are going to create a template where I'm going to save as remixable template. We are going to do a publishing link. I'm going to hit this. We are going to publish that link. It's going to create a link for me, and then I'm going to go back to Adobe Express, and I will create a QR code. That QR code is going to be on the screen in just a few seconds. You can scan it, and then you can download all of these as well.
We'll also post everything to
Yes,
Instagram.
I'll update it in the description. So give me like 5 minutes after the stream, and I will update it in the description. So you have the link here. I'm going to paste it into here, and then we are going to have a QR code.
Yay. And if you remix this, please tag us at Adobe Live, and we will repost it, take a look at it. We want to see what you create. So
Yes, so all you need to do, again, scan this with your phone right now, and you will be able to work on these in Adobe Express. It will open it automatically in Adobe Express for you. So thanks so much for joining us. Stick around. There's more great content coming up. I'll be hosting again, so you'll have more of me, and Megan's going away.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Today we are working on an illustrative lettering motion poster. So we'll start in Fresco. I like building my lettering projects in a square Instagram size. So the phrase that we're doing today is go with your gut. One thing that I really like about Fresco is they have a lot of brushes already preloaded. So I'll come and I'll draw a straight line, hold, line it up. So I'm basically making boundary boxes for my piece. So you'll come, make another layer, start drawing the letters out. I want it to be kind of a reverse font. So normally downstrokes are the thickest, but on this we're gonna do cross strokes. So I'm now gonna take my eraser. This is where you start kind of manipulating what you've put down, and I'll start erasing some of the downstroke. I'll just go in here and then I'll load the selection, transform it, and then I'll just squeeze it. Continue cleaning this up a little bit. We'll go and we'll hit this button up here. It'll be a publish and export. click export as, and then you'll have different settings. I normally use PSD because it will reserve the layers. So you'll come in, you have to make sure that you have a background, and then you'll go right here and you'll find levels. When you come to the left, it gets lighter. Ooh. And then when you come to the right, it gets darker. So you wanna go as far as the right as you can. I will put these all together. I'll merge into one layer, and then I'll go to blending options and pull the white out. And so I'm gonna drag this over into Illustrator now. It'll come over as a image. So I can come up here to image trace. I normally just go black and white logo with this kind of stuff, and then it will image trace it, and I come back to this button here for the more settings and go ignore color. So that'll drop out the white. And then you expand it, and now it is a vector. So next, kind of build a style frame. I took the extra chain piece and I built out the chain. For color, I ended up falling on this orange here. I'll go and add a little bit of a gradient. I'll mask that behind the shape, and that kind of gives you a little bit extra. So the same thing is here with the chain. There's the tan, and then there's a little bit of a gradient here in the corner, and that's using the freeform gradient tool. With this type here, I go and create a circle, and then you go to the type tool, hold option, and then click, and it will start typing on the path. And then if you can see, there's this shine here behind inside the chain. Right here will be the mask, and then you'll go and hit Command 7. So that's what it'll look like once you clipping mask it. So now we're at the point where we have all of our pieces, and we want to take all of those pieces over into After Effects. So the chain is made up of a vector, and then it's also made up of a color. And so basically the mask is the thing that's moving. I go over here to the matte, and I want to turn on the mask being the matte for the color. So if you highlight all of your layers and you hit U, it'll show you everything that has a keyframe attached to it. If you hit U again, it'll close everything. The shine is right here, just those squares going across it. I want to show the thing that is moving everything is called here a null. So a null, you can again parent layers to the null, and the null will do all the heavy lifting. So in here we have some position keyframes, and when you hit the keyframe, it moves it up. Right here, we have some rotation keyframes. We have a couple of these shine points right here, but I want to add a couple more. So I'm gonna go here, I'm calling them glint, and I will hit Command D to duplicate. I also wanted it to have like a little bit of a rock. So again, we'll go to move everything. We'll open up the keyframes here. I think that will be a rotation. So we'll go and lay down a keyframe, and then we'll go a little bit further. So we're gonna go and we're gonna kind of rotate it a little bit, and it's gonna come back. So let's go -2 on that one, and let's kind of see what that looks like.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then we want to kind of ease back into 0. This is kind of the whole thing.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
I think the project works.
Circling around, that's the end of the stream, y'all. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here with our friend Tyler Pate. Hi, Tyler.
Hello, look at this.
So we're going to be designing some summer wallpapers. And Tyler, what are we going to be working in? And also, where can people follow you, find more of your work?
You can find all my stuff. I think Instagram is probably the best bet, but at the Creative Pane is where you'll see all my illustrations, little tutorial videos, and just all the kind of creative stuff that I'm getting into.
Yes, and we're going to get you for 2 streams today, which is going to be fun. What are we doing in the first part, and what are we doing in the second part?
So first part, we're going to focus on Adobe Illustrator. So we're just going to create our shapes, create our concept, and we could play around with some patterns with these too. But a little bit later, we'll do something different.
Fun. So stick around now and then come back in a couple hours. We'll be revisiting these. So let's hop in and we're going to be creating, I believe, some snack packs.
Yeah.
Ooh, fun. And we're going to do it using a lot of simple shapes. We're going to show you some tips and tricks and kind of go along. As always, if you have questions in the chat, please put them in chat for us. We'll show you how to do anything that we do, and make sure you subscribe. Smash that sub button. Be a part of our community. All right. Let's hop in, Tyler. Where are we starting? I see that we have some sketches. Is this where we always start?
Yeah, so I'm going to walk through a little bit of my process before we dive in. So I was doodling a little bit. I was feeling inspired by a little bit of summer, thinking about some citrus fruit, thinking about some, honestly, oddly enough, avocados just popped in my mind.
Ooh.
And I was thinking, you know, it'd be really fun if we created a little bit of branding on this, but design and illustrate those old school, kind of like the mesh net bags that you see at the grocery store with fruit and things like that in it. So I went ahead and sketched up a couple different options. We got our avocado sketch up at the top. We got some oranges, we got some apples, and we got a little bag of lemons. So we can kind of play it by ear and which one we want to pursue first, but I think this is a good start.
Yeah. I think maybe avocados. Avocado wouldn't strike me as like a summer thing, but then I thought about it and I was like, yes, I want to have an avocado out on the porch. Like, why not? Some little guac in there.
Ooh, guac. Ooh, we got to get the guac.
Right? So yeah, let's start up there. And what's your process in going from sketch to vector? Because your vectors are so like precise and like crisp and clean, and these sketches are pretty loose.
Yeah.
Are you thinking in shapes as you're building these, or what's your kind of process?
Yeah, I think for this, I'm going to think about different quadrants. There's definitely the simplistic shapes, and it's also thinking about, in the back of my head, where we can implement some texture. That's kind of the other step to this I want to do. So I want to have a real solid, simple base layer. And with that, we can have some fun later. But these simple shapes are going to go a long ways. And really just implementing some of these little textures that I brought in here. So all of these are some strokes that we can use.
And these are brushes.
These are brushes, yes.
Ooh, where do these brushes come from?
I think this was True Grit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Dustin Lee. Yeah, these are awesome.
So let's see if we can get away with using some of these without creating too much chaos. But we know how this vector brush is going to be. Okay, so we have our sketch. I also made a little mood board. Again, I always like to start in some sort of realm where it's like, what could possibly be my color palettes? What could be some examples? Since we're referencing actual fruit and food, it's really good to have some, Adobe stock images in there. We can, start drawing from those references.
How often do you use reference versus like going off your sketch or kind of like freehanding it? Is it mostly reference, kind of piecing things together?
I honestly, I will lean on a sketch really heavily if I can visualize it. If it's up here, we know where we're going, and it's pretty easy from there. But I think with this, since we are using some things that we all know, so I want to make sure our lemons or the inside of the lemons look correct, and also the inside of the oranges. So that's kind of a good step for me. It's like, I want to make sure that looks good.
Let's do it.
So, okay, let's go ahead and dive in. And we are working with a mouse. So this is going to be fun.
We are mousing today. Usually, I believe you are on pen, tablet. If you watch Instagram, you can see some of that process as well. So we're going to be creating using click and drag like the old times back in my day. And we're just going to create these basic shapes here and kind of augment the anchor point. So this is a great way to approach as you start building, is think about what things are what shapes, right? Is it an oval? Is it a circle? And even things that are like obtuse shapes like that is really just a circle that has an anchor point dragged out. And so we're going back and forth between the direct selection tool and the selection tool. Direct selection is the white arrow, if you see it, and then the selection tool is the black arrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky, but this is a good thing because it really should show us that we don't always need a drawing tablet and we don't need the fanciest tools, but we can just do it the old-fashioned way, which a little click here and there will do it.
So as we're building this, it's crazy that we like already have a shape going. As you're building, are you kind of just using random colors to fill things in, and then we'll go back and kind of reassess the colors as we go through?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet, because we need to really figure out the tones and what would probably cause us a lot of confusion if we're in there and everything's the same color.
Yes.
Or if there's no color, then I'm going to lose track. So just an organizational thing I do is sometimes I'll just place color. It's only temporary. We can have some fun with that later. Honestly, a couple cool AI features we could do for that too.
Ooh, fun.
So I'm just going to kind of work these shapes in. And I'm noticing that I'm getting a little snapping going.
Yep, I was going to notice that too.
Off.
So if you ever have that issue, you can go to View, and there's like 6 different snapping options that if something is happening, you can turn it off. If you're trying to work on like smart guides, if you're trying to work on a grid, it's actually really helpful to snap to pixel or to snap to point. But at any other point, it's a nightmare.
It's really a hit or miss.
Yeah, and it's like very specific that I've used it 1 or 2 times, and it's so helpful, but usually not super helpful. I was doing like 8-bit art, and I was like, yeah, it's great for creating 8-bit stuff, but anything else, no thank you.
Yep, that's how it goes. But it's good to have it as an option. Just got to know when to turn it off. Or better yet, it took me so long to figure out how to turn those things off.
Yes.
Once I got over that, I think we're good.
Yeah, and it's always great if something feels wrong and you're not sure what's going on, go through your menus. Like just click around on stuff. And usually if it's a setting, it will be in View or it will be in Edit. But click through everything and just see what it does. A lot of times too, you can go to Object when you have something selected and just work your way through those and see what happens.
Yeah, it's all problem solving.
A little sticker?
Yeah, I think we need to add a little thing. So
Yeah.
I had a couple phrases I was thinking about beforehand just to save us some time, but now we got to pick fonts, which honestly, I probably should have picked those fonts because, man, it's just too many options for me. I got to have to zero in. So
Right. So one that I've been using I actually did a project. Okay, you keep going for fonts there. I did a project that was like supermarket vibes.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to see if I can
put this produce in the market.
Right, yes. I'm going to see if I can find the project and see what fonts I used.
Okay.
I know that I used a font called Yellowtail, and it's more of like a scripty kind of font.
Okay.
And then here's the one that I was using that had a very supermarket vibe. It's called Ed's Market.
Ooh.
EDS. Ed's Market.
Market. Let's see if I actually have that.
What else was going on here? That was actually, if we want to hop over my screen just to show some reference, why not?
Yeah.
As you look for the fonts, this is a project that I worked on that was a very like fun supermarket kind of vibes, and then we started to make different logos. So it was like logos, but it was like a flip onto
that's
design
so cool.
terms.
That's
so
creative.
super fun project, but similar vibes. All right, back to you.
I like that. Now, I think together we need to go in business.
Right?
Let's make a supermarket.
And I think that's Beverly Drive, right?
That is.
Yes, we used that in our last stream too. Amy and Jen Hood, you are getting some major product placement here. These are included in Adobe Font, so you can go download that and use it right there. And here we're using an offset path. And that's basically going to just give us a shape inside a shape, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that inner ring just right. You gotta find the right measurement. I think because I'm working at such a small size, I'm losing it every time, and I'm not good at math.
I always get so like perplexed when I'm working small because vectors, I'm like, this is huge. It's the right size.
Yeah.
And then you get into it and it's like, oh no, this is like 0.1 inches small.
Yeah.
And now I can't do anything with it.
Oopsie. Okay. Just trying to get those colors in there. And this is such a small piece, so I'm not gonna try to spend too much time on this. This is just what I would say the sprinkles on top. But we're gonna duplicate it a lot though.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's true. And we'll probably use it in different places at different times.
Yeah, so I don't wanna lose that opportunity completely, but I wanna make sure that we give it the right amount of time.
And I love, as a designer, we all do this. In chat, let me know if you do this too. Like some little detail I'll get stuck on, and then I'm like, I just spent 30 minutes doing this thing that's gonna be like the smallest detail.
Yep, that's the story of my life sometimes.
And thank you, Wade Acuff is dropping those links to the fonts for you to grab them and sync them to your library.
I think I need to
pull them out. Yeah, just a little.
Just to pull it out just a little further and then select it. And then I'm gonna, oh, dang it. There we go.
Pathfinder tool?
Yeah, I want to make this a solid shape in between there, but I don't. All right, there we
oh,
go.
in there.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. Simplest thing, about 17 different tries to get it there.
And so what we just used there was the shape builder tool. And what that does is it kind of assesses all the different elements of your design and figures out where you can add things, subtract things, piece things together. And you can create some very simple, easy shapes just like this by just overlapping stuff. No Pathfinder, literally just use the shape builder tool. It takes a little while to get used to in a workflow, but once you get it, it's so much easier than using Pathfinder.
Yeah, and especially if I'm being very particular with some shapes. It's like, I want this to stay, live and a bunch of different intricate parts to it, and I want this to be solid. And I could just simply draw over it. It's that easy. Okay, I need to get back to the goods here. We're gonna make some, like there's little, there's little notches, like the texture. I'm just gonna kind of simulate a texture a little bit. I feel like it would be like that.
And we're just doing some shading there. And again, we just use the shape builder tool. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
my goodness. To knock out two circles on top of each other. And this would be hard. This would actually be really hard to do with pen tool to get like this precise of a shape. But again, if you think about it, two circles, knock out the top one, and now you have this nice little texture.
I know, right? It's that easy sometimes. You know what? Let's go ahead and start seeing what we can do with our brushes.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that we went from like kind of just blobby shape and adding those little elements. Now it suddenly has like come to life, and it's very much like, oh yeah, that's totally an avocado. And it's interesting just adding those little elements. If you're trying to make your design be less flat, to come to life, try to add in some small elements like that. Try to add in some shading like we're doing now. Really easy. And it looks like we're using maybe draw inside.
Yeah, I just figured this out not too long ago. Did you know about this? Have you been using it?
It is so helpful. It basically is creating a clipping mask like for you. And once you have an object selected, over there underneath where your stroke and fill is, there's an option to draw inside. And with that selected, with the object, anything that you add will only show up inside that object. And it saves you so much time.
I know. I used to do this, again, just a whole bunch of I would select, copy, place
and it was
into
like
place,
clipping masks,
and then there's
like
about
9
5
deep.
clipping masks there. It's clipping mask inception a little bit, but it's it saves a lot of time and it keeps it cleaner. I'm very nitpicky when it comes to unnecessary items.
Yep, yeah, and this is just one shape that has all of the pieces kind of within that shape.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is good for now.
That's crazy how those brushes got that much texture to it.
Right? It's pretty cool. And then you can just go in there and play with these adjustments too.
Yeah, and it feels like we spent so much longer on that than we did.
I spent longer on that sticker, to be honest.
That's true. We spent longer on the sticker than we've done the actual avocado. That's hilarious.
All right. So now, this is what I was saying earlier. Now we're just going to kind of repeat. I'm looking at my sketch too in the corner there. And I'm going to kind of align these. Because the style that I want something to where they're very close to touching, but nothing touches. And then it's going to be a very organic, hand-looking drawn net that kind of encases it.
Okay.
So,
and I'll actually, if we get there, I might try to show you a little trick that we tried to do during the last stream that didn't work, actually would work well for this to kind of create a bunch of different options. Yeah. And this is great if you have one shape and you need to use it a bunch of times. There are a lot of different ways that you can make it look like you have done a whole bunch of them individually. And so once we get all the things there, we can kind of play around with some transform tools.
Always learning.
Yes.
Always learning.
And Carol's saying, shh, don't tell the client. It's fine. If they don't see it, they don't need to know.
Okay. That's let's go ahead with this little label. So when I was thinking about this, I was like, I want something to really pop. I want this very nice contrast color, kind of a strip going straight through the middle of this, and it's going to hide it behind there. So we're getting that idea of a label, which I just, for whatever reason, and this is how my thought process kind of works, and I'd love to hear what you think, Andrew, because that's kind of what gets me excited. It's like, oh wait, I've never seen this. I want to know what that layering could be and how that shadows could, reflect from that.
Yep. And I think that it's fun to kind of take that approach to design is like, I wonder if this could be that, or like, I haven't seen this actual product, so let's try to build it and explore what it looks like. And I definitely like can already see how fun this is going to be and how like bright and colorful and like full of life it's going to be.
Yeah. Just try to remember to have fun with this.
And here, again, that little notch opening that's happening at the top is just going to be a rectangle that has some rounded edges. Very, very simple. So it looks like an organic blob. It would probably be really hard to nail with the pen tool. But here, start with your basic shape and then figure out, is there an extra point that's lifted? Is there a corner that's moved? Are the corners rounded? And it will create organic shapes like this little door hanger.
Yeah, I always like to look at these as, these are like puzzles to me. So I'm just like tinkering with it, trying to figure out, it's like, oh, it is just 3 circles, or it's just something like a square, and then we can, adjust it from there. So we don't have to really create everything from scratch. It saves a lot of time.
And do you like see other designs and then kind of like try to like piece them apart and figure out like, how do they do that? Are there certain like inspirations that you look at or people you follow that you want to shout out?
Yeah, there's plenty of things out there that, project to project, it typically changes.
Yep.
But there's so many people doing very great particular things. It's like, oh, how did they get that texture? Or how do they, the way of using that font and making it 3D. It's like those little subtleties I'm constantly looking for. And man, I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head, because I was looking at some stuff last night and I was like, oh, this stuff is so fun.
Yeah, and it's interesting to look at it and be inspired, but then kind of be challenged of like, okay, that's really cool. How can I make that? Like how can I figure out how to get the magic that they're creating with some of my work?
And that is the challenge, because again, you want to feel inspiration from it, but you don't want to just recreate it. So there's a weird dance you have to make where it's like, what is inspiration? What details? Because I might have an old painting as a reference, but it's like, I'm only looking at that texture, nothing else.
Yes. I love pulling those elements out of something like, okay, none of this matters except for like this little thing that they're doing. I want that in my design.
Yeah, that's pretty much every client conversation. It's about walking through those mood boards and really telling that story.
And so we're just layering here and we're kind of pulling colors that are already existing. We're like sort of establishing a color palette. And then we can explore some other ones kind of as we go.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a little like tear tag?
Yeah, so a lot of these bags, and again, talk about research. You have to I always kind of go pretty deep with the research. So I'm thinking of what are the different variations of these types of bags? And I noticed a lot of them have these stitching that's right down at the bottom.
Oh,
and I think it keeps everything kind of
so it doesn't
enclosed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of mimic that a little bit.
And we're just using the stroke tool here, and then we're clicking that dashed line allows you to change all the settings, and you can actually change what those lines look like. You can change the distance of each line, the distance between each line. There's a lot of customizable settings there. If you're trying to create a dashed line, just make it a stroke.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of adjust the rotations of these a little bit.
And actually what's interesting is once we get this built, we're going to go into Command Y, which is just outlines mode, and it will show you just all the outlines. And it's going to look completely different because we're using a lot of strokes, a lot of simple shapes, and it will look very different to show you kind of the elements that we're using for the textures, for the fonts, all that stuff. This is so fun.
That's always the Houdini trick for me. It's like, oh, you thought this was complex and crazy? Command Y this, we're going to see some madness.
Easy
with the lines.
peasy.
Especially for any creatives out there, I think whenever I have conversations with, let me see your file. Let me want to see these layers and how everything's looking, because I'm just so curious of how everything's built, because a lot of times we're doing the same stuff, but just different tools.
Yep. It is funny to see, and this is why I love Adobe Live, of watching people's process and then being like, wait, that's how you do it? Like, I do exactly the same thing, and you have one little twist on it, and it makes it completely different. I love seeing those little surprises.
That definitely makes it fun. So I'm just trying to figure out the balance here. And this is, again, I think this is kind of the artist's touch here, I would have to say.
Because you want to have enough on the sides that it shows the avocados, but not too much that it feels like this gigantic bag.
And I don't want it to feel too symmetrical. So that's kind of the challenge I'm kind of faced right now. But I think something like that's starting to round out a little bit, give it some weight so everything's kind of like at the bottom of the bag, you know? Okay. So that's probably enough time on that. I'm going to increase the size of there. Let's see. I'm constantly looking back at my little sketch here. So we do have a lot of opportunities for type. Again, I was pulling some copy language here.
Avocados.
You want to start thinking about some type fonts?
Oh, yes.
Got some good ones?
Let's do... What have I been using lately? Let's do, for the like top little like organic, Yellowtail. It's an Adobe font. You'll probably need to sync it through, but you can sync from Illustrator. Oh, what? Oh, find more.
Where's...
right up to the left, right there, yeah. And then, do you have any filters on?
No.
Wait, this is gonna kill me.
Here it goes.
Okay, there we go.
A little delayed.
That one. So all you need to do is click on the little cloud to the far right, and it will start syncing that for you. It'll activate the font, and then in a few seconds, it'll be activated and you can use it right there. Super, super easy. And someone is saying, great idea, save.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have made it just long enough to need to save something. I totally agree. And let me see for the main avocado type what we could do. Something like chunky.
Yeah, that would be great.
Freight Sans is what I've been using. It has like a million different versions.
And I'm not activating.
No, it's there.
Activating. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, it might still be syncing. I feel like the first font that I try to sync always takes a hot second, and then the rest of them, it's like trying to like connect to the cloud, and then once it does, boom, done.
Oh, that's a great font.
Right?
How do I use this?
For scripts. Like, scripts are super hard to do. This feels so good. I did a campaign that this was all neon, and I did the thin line, and it was like glowy. Yeah. It's perfect for that kind of just handwritten look.
And it's playful too. That's always the thing that I'm trying to balance. It's like I want it to feel fun and not too serious. You know, just have fun with it.
Yeah. I think for avocado, we'll probably need something taller and thinner.
Okay.
And so what we can do is we can actually filter our Adobe fonts. And so if you open up the fonts menu, you can click on filters up there on the left, and then you can find something that is thinner, which is the properties. So we probably want sans serif.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. What size though? Should we do condensed? Fixed
Yeah,
width?
let's do condensed. Why not?
Yeah.
And then right below that, the thinner version, the A that's like really thin, squishy. There you go. And then that will start filtering in some fonts that might work. And are there not? No fonts found? Okay, let's turn off and just turn off the monospace.
Monospace
that we
is
had.
Probably having an issue, right?
Yeah.
How do I turn that off?
Just click there and then bottom on the M.
M. Where's the M?
That one. Yep. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Some options that are a little more condensed and tall that could work for us.
Let's see. Interesting.
Bless you.
We could take a scroll around the parking lot here and see what's in here.
This is always the most fun part, is finding like the right font.
What do you think about this?
Yes. Papyrus Condensed. That's a version of Papyrus I've never seen. Like, I've only seen the original. I didn't know that there were variations.
If there needed to be a sequel.
Right? Wait, there was the font that is down to, like at the very bottom.
Yeah.
One more. That one. That's really fun. I don't know what the font is, and it's for sure like a different language font, but it's really fun.
I like to see, right?
Right? It's just got a little bit of like sass to it.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
Sweet.
Okay.
Why not?
Look at that.
And it kind of pairs well with the little swoop.
Yeah, it does. Okay. I think that looks good.
What a weird find.
I know, right? Where the journey will take you. Okay, so we got this little avocado I sketched that's going to be kind of cracked open, cut in half. We want to add that to the label.
And I'm very interested because when I'm working in Illustrator, I very often will just go for flat shapes because it makes things a lot easier. You do a lot of dimension, a lot of kind of organic looking shapes, but then I watch your process videos and I'm like, oh, it's literally X, Y, or Z together that creates like this side perspective. So I'm very interested to see how we do this to create that kind of three-dimensional look.
Yeah, so whenever I'm creating my own perspective, so I'll typically think in my head in a way of a grid. So if I ever skew things, and I think the transformation tool is probably, that's everything to me, because I'm constantly using it. It's just the easiest way to transform anything that, like you said, that feels flat. We can skew it a little bit, and then we can drop down a little bit of like a depth perception to it. So I'm gonna start with the base here. And you know, something that I thought that I'm gonna back up on is the fact that before we start bending this into perspective, I need a circle in the middle.
Yes.
Because I don't want to lose that perspective. Again, consistency is the key with perspective.
And so when you're doing that, you're using the transform tool, which is just, you have select, you select your objects, and then where are we going and how are you like pulling out the edges? There's a lot of like just grabbing and happening. What's happening there?
So I'm going to copy and paste into place. So I'm doing all those key commands like copy, paste into place, shrink that one, copy, paste into place, shrink that one. I'm doing all that manually because it gives me a little bit more control and then I can visually see it. And that's the thing that a lot of times if I'm being more analytical about it or, again, using a little bit of math, I can't visualize that as well. So I like to just see it a little bit more.
To paste in place, instead of Control V, it's Control Shift V, and it will help you paste in place. Is that right? Control, it might be.
It's such a motion. I have to do it before I can say it.
I literally was just about to do it because I was like, it's just muscle memory.
Yep.
Yes, Control Shift V is paste in place. It'll basically make a copy just right on top of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting hungry.
These colors. That's a good color. And again, I always would usually try to remember to drag copies off to the side.
Yes.
Just in case it doesn't go to plan. We have something to reference.
All right, so we have our object. Now we're going to start doing perspective and stuff.
Yeah.
How are we doing the perspectives?
Okay, so we're going to get back to our transformation tool. We're going to just kind of drag up this panel. Again, it's fine if it starts to get a little distorted because we're going to fix that.
What was our hotkey for the transform tool?
It's just E.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got to make sure. Let me try it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just distort that a little bit. And you can already tell it's like, it doesn't look quite right. We're getting some weird little angles through here that just doesn't feel consistent for me, but we can fix those later. Just want to get that angle just like I want. And then I'm going to kind of shift this over a little bit. Same for this. Usually I could be a little more precise with my drawing tablet and pen, but we're going to do it like that.
This just turned into an egg, and now like I'm just going to be perpetually hungry for the rest for the rest of the stream.
Look at that.
There's and then we're just going to drag out.
Yep.
This is breaking my brain.
It's not that complicated though, right?
And it's so I would never have thought that like putting perspective on a spherical object is just distorting it and then grabbing the one anchor point and pulling it down because it has like the roundness just goes out. I was trying to figure out like how are we going to get the dimension on the bottom part, and it literally just dragging out an anchor point. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just I think it's a very simple understanding of how perspectives are, and just it's all visual. You know, it's just looking at it constantly, and you can tell if it doesn't look right, and then tweaking it until we get it to feel a little better.
And then we just pulled in a highlight and shadow. Which is just, it's funny because I would think that the shape is the crescent on top of the lighter, but it's the opposite. It's the darker in the background and then a blob on top of that to lighten it.
And you know, something that could help us too, I'm going to just roughly see where my center is. I'm about to Command Y real quick.
Ooh.
See that little dot here? That's kind of what I'm looking at because that right there is the center of kind of like the what do you call the inside of the avocado? The avocado piece, not the shell.
Yes. Is it a pit? Do avocados have
pit?
pits?
I think it is a pit.
It's a fruit, right?
Ooh, I'm not confident in the answer to that.
See, chat, this is my role as the host, is I Google things and then I pretend like I know them. Yes, so like botanically, an avocado is indeed a fruit. Thank you, Google.
Well, that's perfect for everything else we're looking at making.
That's interesting to be like, ooh, our favorite like fruits of the summer. And then you like throw an avocado.
I totally think about it for summer though. I don't know why. Maybe because it just feels...
Okay, it is not a pit, it is a seed.
Okay.
That's so interesting. It's like a giant avocado seed.
Okay, I was just trying to toy around. Again, it's a lot of this is trial and error because we want to try to make a new style. That's at least what I'm trying to do. This is kind of a more flat. We're gonna have some dimension in there, but it's still we're gonna texturize it enough to where it gives it kind of more of a flat look, artistic look.
Yep. And we do have about 20 minutes left, just as we gauge time. So about 20 minutes left. But the great thing is you can stick around because there is another stream with this workflow, adding some texture, kind of finishing things up a little bit later today at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Right after this, stick around because Ted Chin is going to be hanging out with us doing some portrait compositing. We're going to show you how lighting works. We're going to look at some layers, how you can kind of stack layers to create really cool light effects. And then we're back with Tyler at the end of the day. Make sure you stick around. 1 o'clock p.m. There is a new episode of Adobe Office Hours that is Ask Us Anything. So we'll have two industry professionals here, one of which is myself, to answer your questions about anything that you want. There's no rules. Just throw it on there. And someone saying, yes, it is a large berry. It's true. Did you know, again, we're just throwing out random things, avocados need 2 avocado trees to be able to grow fruit. So 1 avocado tree will indeed grow, but it won't produce any avocados. You need 2 of them so they can pollinate each other, and then they will start to grow fruit. Weird, right?
Wow, so avocados have parents.
Knowledge is power. And here, again, we're just using pen tool. We're just dragging out using that direct selection tool on the anchor points.
Yeah, just making some action shapes.
And these don't need to really be precise because it's more about just like adding some
jazz.
Some jazz.
Some avocado jazz.
Jazz up the avocado. That's the tahini. Just throw a little spice on there.
Okay, let's see. Oops. Pen tool.
Oh, and you're grabbing the brushes, right?
Grab that. Yeah, I wanted to add a little bit to inside of this.
So right there underneath where the stroke and fill is, that's where you can do the draw inside. You have to have the object selected, but then anything that you draw inside is going to add that texture or draw inside of the shape that you have selected.
Oh, I had this little fun line.
Made with hugs.
I thought that would be perfect. It's like a little small piece. If I had an avocado company, I would make this my statement.
And like everyone goes around and hugs the trees every morning just to say hello.
Yeah. The mom and dad parents of these.
Yes, Chad is throwing in their suggestions. Avocado tortilla chips, yes. Fajitas, absolutely. Trying wasabi with avocados? Wasabi, bell pepper, onion, and avocado. That sounds delicious.
Interesting.
Also, Umacorn, hello. Umacorn is saying hello to you and I. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Umacorn.
Okay, let's see. You know one thing we need to get to before we finish?
What's that?
We gotta get to that bag, right?
Oh, yes.
We don't have anything holding this thing together.
We're pretty close, and I think that bag, you said that you wanted to do it a little more rough freehand, or are we going to try to do some simple shapes and pull it together?
Well, since we're using a mouse, I'm gonna try my best.
Good luck, everybody. Hold on to your mice.
But I think it should be fine. As long as I'm using my anchor points. Again, I love the pen tool. It is our friend, and if you heard different, you don't know the pen tool I know.
Yes. And you are going to get some like leeway here because it is an organic bag shape and not like a perfect circle. Like you can really, you lucked out there. And if you are having trouble with the pen tool of understanding anchor points or like how far to pull out an anchor point, think about it as a roller coaster. And so you're starting at one point, and then as you drag out, you're just adding momentum to the next point. And so think of it as like launching a roller coaster and you're just telling it where to go next and then how much speed you want toward that next point.
Exactly. It was such a challenge to when I first started out with the pen tool.
Yeah, it's a
very
hard
daunting.
learning curve.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get wrong.
Yeah.
And then once you're wrong, it's so hard to fix it to make it right.
you know, the hardest thing for me, especially early on, was I can tell that it's wrong, but I don't know why.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing. It's like something's off.
Yeah, it looks
know?
bad, but for not a reason that I understand.
It's like an optical illusion of something. I can't tell. But
So as we push things around here, I do want people, one, to go check out Tyler's work. And Tyler, I want to ask you about some projects that you've been doing recently. You've been doing some collabs. You've been doing some work for some clients. What's some of your favorite projects you've been working on lately?
oh man, so I don't know if you know, but I work on the consumer products team with Nickelodeon. So I'm constantly making a lot of cool stuff for some of my favorite shows I grew up with. So honestly, that's been a lot of time lately, just working on a little bit of SpongeBob stuff, a little hush hush. Can't really talk too much about it, but it is very exciting. I hope to share some of that in the coming months. But that's been taking up a lot of time. But outside of that, I've been just experimenting with my own styles, kind of like what we're doing here with the avocado. Is just like, what can we do with a different style that I haven't done?
Yep.
And I've been doing that with the creative pain stuff. So been creating some merch, some shirts, and really these textures. I've just been really curious with textures lately. So
it's really fun to like just bring your creations to life.
Yeah.
With the Nickelodeon stuff, I like that is a dream company for I think a lot of people. Was that something that like as a kid or like as you're getting started with an artist, you're like, oh my gosh, like Nickelodeon's like the dream, or is it something that you're like, oh, it kind of just like fell into place, or is that like the dream for you that you've now gotten?
It's a crazy ride, I'll tell you that, because of course working for any show on Nickelodeon and you know being a 90s kid, it's like, oh man, it would be cool to check that box. Like how do I get in that door and how do I make that happen? It wasn't so simple, you know. I was freelancing full time for about 3 years. And just putting my work out there. Social media is my friend, so getting all my things in front of people is really the trick. And before long, I got a knock on the door, believe it or not.
That's crazy.
And there was an opportunity that they wanted me to consider. So I considered it. It was one of those where I couldn't think of any better scenario than to work with those IPs, but just a team like that. It's pretty cool.
And it's one of those things that like, I'm sure that it's, you know, it's got the regular business workings, but like it can only be so much business when you're working with fun stuff like that. And I assume that companies like Nickelodeon just pull really fun people. That's really great to work with.
Super talented too. It's so cool. And honestly, coming from a freelance and you know prior to that agency world, where you know you work with teams, you work with clients and you know other friends and things like that. But when you're in a company like that, you're working with massive teams to scales that I've never really wrapped my head around, such as we need character art for this little icon badge we're making. Well, you need to go talk to the character team, and they're going to develop, you know, kind of our art direction on what that should look like, and then we're going to use that into it because it all has to be on brand and it has to be up standard. So
yeah, which is interesting with IP. You have your illustration style and the work that you do, and with IP, you're like, oh no, it needs to look exactly like the character pretty much every time. But then you still get to incorporate some of the techniques that you've learned and some of the ways that you create, but trying to stay on brand, which is cool that you can kind of balance those.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's where the background for me of experimenting on these different illustration styles gives me at least the knowledge to like, oh, I can get in there and tweak some stuff, and then you kind of have to, you know, play ball with everyone else and understand like, okay, these guys know SpongeBob's face. All right. I never knew those details, and I know what's on brand and off brand, they know. Yep. So leaning on those sources is really a key thing, but also with being a creative or at least a designer in my stance, you know, we are able to like just have that conversation. It's like, hey, this maybe isn't working, but what could you do to fix it? And then we can pinpoint it.
Yes, and I love the art direction conversations of like, I don't know, it feels too squishy. And you're like, what? Like that was my job today is like trying to figure out how to make it less squishy.
we're gonna add some.
All right, this bag is looking good, and
horizontals.
it's looking organic. It's got kind of like the blobby shape that I'd imagine a sack of avocados would. Claire! Hi, Claire. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Hello, hello to our friend Claire Haynes.
Hello.
Nice to see you. And I like that at the beginning. Excuse me, chat. My goodness. I was in a hotel where the air conditioner was directly on my face for the entire night. So I love that we started kind of like pen tooling out all the shapes. And then once we had one, we kind of were just like, all right, cool. Let's grab it, stretch it, squash it, move a shape.
Yeah.
And once you have the base, if you don't need to redo it completely, why? Just use what's already there and augment it.
You want to know, same sort of logic that was groundbreaking for me was with my sketches. You notice that I had a really rough sketch.
Yep.
There was a point where I wanted that sketch to be perfect. It needed to look exactly like how I needed to make my illustration. Depending on the project, obviously, but sometimes you don't have to spend too much time on that sketch. If I know exactly what I need to do in Illustrator, I'm just gonna get the idea down. It's my reference. It's my North Star of the idea.
Yep.
And everything else, you know, put all that time on the actual illustration, because that's gonna take a lot of time, like you're seeing here, you know. We're almost at time.
Right? Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left. We are going to come back and revisit this a little bit later, so make sure that you stick around. Emily Poulin in chat. Hi, Emily. Nice to see you. My favorite designer. She was one of my junior designers. She's my favorite designer in the world. She was, I believe, on Adobe Live last week. If you want to go check out her stream, she created some packaging for a summer pool party, like a little not balloon. What are they called?
Floats?
Like a little floaty. Yeah. Thank you. I was like, a pool balloon? That's not a thing. Okay, so we're buttoning up the rest of our tag here. This is looking really good.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And again, I would consider this a good first draft, you know? And
absolutely.
If we spent a little bit more time, you could be able to like put a little more dimension in here, give it a little more character. I can only see where this could go. It could be fun.
And when you're creating, this is like such a relative question, but when you're creating an illustration, what does the timeline look like for you? Because I think, chat, if you go and look at some of his work, it's like fairly complex, seems like it would be really time intensive. But at this point, do you kind of have your process down? What's your timing look like?
I'd say a typical illustration's about 7 hours.
Oh, that's way shorter than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's a typical one. But again, I kind of have to figure out the point of like, all right, you got to get away from this. Like we could add so many more details, but
yeah, how do you know when it's done?
It's a feeling. It's a feeling I have.
Yep.
I think it's getting back to, again, our research. Is it really checking all those boxes for my mood board? Is it really capturing what I envision with my sketch? Those little things I kind of check in constantly throughout that process.
Yep.
That helps me. But if I get to a point where it's like, all right, I don't know what else I could do, you know, that's a clear indicator. That's if it's a personal project. Clients, we have deadlines.
Yep.
That's a good way to get to be finished.
And hello, Jaylene, saying so happy to be here. Well, we are so happy that you are here. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, as always, please ask them in the chat. And Tyler, real quick, we just did something to that type. How do we make it all like swoopy? What did you do to the type to swoop it?
Little text effect on there. You talking about this avocado?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just a text effect. Let's see, I don't have the appearance panel open. Doesn't look like. So what that is if you go up to effects, you can go to like these warp features here. And you can I'm just gonna apply a new one. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of fun little shapes that we could do in this panel. That gives us some options, and we get to adjust them. I might actually find a better one, to be honest.
And it's super easy to just click through those and like see what happens.
Yeah.
And especially with type, because we're so used to seeing type just symmetrical, the smallest little detail on this can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and you know, now I'm back in here. I'm just like, oh, now I'm second guessing it a little
right?
bit.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't know. Let's spend another 20 minutes here.
All right,
And yes, Emily, it's a feeling. Yes, that's most of design is just vibe checks.
A little fit check. Yeah, it's looking good. You know what? Now I'm thinking, it's like, does this have uppercases?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
give it more importance, you know? I'm trying to finesse that hierarchy a little bit. I feel like if I'm looking at this on a shelf, I need to see avocado first.
Yep. And it's hard because it's such a thin label with such a long word. And then all the other words are short. And so they can be like really poppy. And the Made with Hugs, I think is perfect. Like that definitely is the spot. And right now we're just trying to like visually balance the composition, right? Just kind of adding elements.
And seeing, you know, what space we might need to fill in or what space we just, you know, leave alone and let it be what it is. Yeah, just kind of toying around right now. And, you know, something too that really helps. Sometimes you have to define whether or not you want to illustrate on a white background because it just changes everything when you put a color behind there.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Let's see. I like this first start with just colors I'm already using. Wow, look at those avocados. These will pop out.
That's crazy. Just a little bit of the darker green makes them like it added so much dimension to the illustration.
I'm surprised by that too. That looks good. I don't even know if I want to change that.
That's so fun that you add like a color. You add like a color and it's like done.
That's interesting too. I mean, if
The
we
yellow's
change
fun too.
If we change this color to maybe like a little darker.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm not mad about that. That's really fun.
Right? You could see the type. You could see those stickers, and I think those details matter, right?
Yeah, I think this is fun. And someone is saying, Alessandro, yes, wow, very nice. I agree. Just a little detail there made it so much different.
You know what we're going to do? We're just going to duplicate.
Oh, that's a good idea. So duplicating that, Shift-O is the artboard tool, and then you can just click and drag holding Alt or Option to change that artboard again.
Yeah, look at that. Maybe this is a chat question. What do you think?
Chat, do we want a green background or do we want a yellow background? The yellow is very nice, Claire says. So I think maybe we go with yellow.
Okay.
I think the yellow too gives more summer vibes.
Yeah.
The green is giving me fall vibes, I think. And yellow is like summertime.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good green yellow combination.
It is a good one. I'm
Like-
torn. Man. See, this is the nuance. It could take us another 10 minutes for that.
Right, yeah. We got 4 minutes left. We're like, all right, we'll see
fun.
you back. Yellow background. Okay, Sam and Claire have said yellow background. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That gives it the pop that we need.
Now we change these colors. See, it's just like a problem we got to solve.
Yep, and we're hitting Command Y to go in and out of outline mode, and that makes it easier to select stuff, especially when we've been working with as many stack shapes as we have. Command Y allows you to kind of grab those a little bit easier.
Maybe we'll bring the green back in through here too, maybe?
Yes, yes.
Man, check this out.
One of my favorite things is when you can make a red and green combo work then not be Christmas. Like it's such a rare combo.
That's tough.
Yeah, that when you find it, it's like so poppy if you can avoid it being Christmas.
Okay. All right. We're going to keep that yellow. That yellow is pretty good.
This is fun.
And you know what's going to be really nice? If we just start thinking about how these could possibly stack
Like a
around.
little pattern, yeah.
Yeah. And we can easily, you know what I want to do? Oh, we're so close on time.
And yes, Sam, it is currently almost 11, which is just about lunchtime, and we've been making food for this entire
Do you hear
stream.
my stomach growling?
So yeah, we too want some guacamole. I agree with that.
You know what? Let's go ahead and object. Let's see, pattern and make. We're gonna do something crazy. This might
That's
give us a spin wheel. There's
That's a
lot.
rough pattern. Oh, it's not. So with that, you can select your objects. We did pattern make, and then that's going to allow us to create a pattern, and it will automatically do that for us. And then there's a bunch of settings that we can change to allow us to kind of play around with that.
I'm nervous. I'm scared that it's gonna, because there's a lot of textures that it's repeating.
There's a lot happening.
I'm scared.
Yes, and we also haven't saved it. Those are some things we saved at the very beginning, but then that's as far as we got.
Living on the edge.
And we have 2 minutes left, so we're doing great.
Okay.
Okay, we have our pattern.
I don't think we got to do too much on it.
Okay,
I would throw a few more of those avocados in there,
that's a fun pattern.
but I think that's a really cool pattern, right? I think we could work with that.
And then if we wanted to scale it, here's a little trick. Do you know how to scale only the pattern and not the rectangle?
Oh, What do you got?
Okay, so select it, and then we're going to grab the scale tool, which is S.
Okay.
And then we're gonna hit enter.
Just enter?
Yep. Or yeah, right there. And then what we're gonna do is down at the bottom there, you can do transform objects, unclick that.
Okay.
And now only transform patterns is selected. So now when we change the uniform scale at the top to like 70%, it will only scale the pattern and it will leave the shape. So let's type in, like 70.
Okay.
And then turn on preview on and off.
Okay. So
one more, off, and then on.
on.
So the shape stays the same and it scales the
that's
pattern inside.
That's a good one. I didn't even know that.
There you go. It's like the draw inside. It just saves
man.
you time so that you don't have to go and edit your pattern every time. You can just scale it down using the scale tool.
Heck yeah.
Magic.
Dude, you want to know what I usually do?
What?
Don't judge me. But let's say if I had this original pattern,
Yeah.
I'm just going to scale it down.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just going to sample from that one.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So I could also just like have a shape over here.
That's
And
great.
then I
Basically,
can sample from that one, or I can sample from this one.
That's crazy. So we'll be back with this stream a little bit later to finish up, add some texture, do some more stuff. Stick around. We have another stream talking about how to do lighting and compositing in Photoshop with Ted Chin. I'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm Andrew Hochradel and this is Ted Chin. Hi, Ted.
Hi, everyone.
So if you are familiar and have watched Adobe Live, you've probably seen Ted a couple times this week teaching you some pro tips. And today we're doing more of those pro tips, but in a little different format. What are we going to be working on today?
Yeah, so basically I'm just kind of go over with like some of the key elements for compositing. So you need to understand like perspective, color, and lighting. So which I think lighting plays a lot of like heavy elements when it comes to like composite editing, right? I was just like, okay, like first thing you need to make sure is like the subject you want to blend in with the background and everything is all matching with the light. Same direction. So it's kind of like gonna go over a little bit like tips and tricks, a quick understanding of like how my brain works when I see stuff, and then hopefully this will help you guys to create some fun stuff.
Sweet. So before we get started, let's take a look at your work. Where can people find you? Where can people see what you create? And what do you create?
Yeah, so pretty much I focus on surreal fantasy landscape with animals. Surrealism is definitely like the main subject I love to use in my work, so you can see a lot of over here. And you can also find me on Instagram. Every other social media is the same username. It's Ted's Little Dream, because it's my little dream. I don't know what that was. But yeah, it's okay. I'll just close that. But basically, the whole project started as when I was in grad school. I didn't have like time or budget to travel, so this is kind of like how I use my imagination to teleport myself, and this is how I see things when I go visit places, right? So yeah. And
That's
we can
really
jump
cool.
back to Firefly.
So we're going to be working today in Adobe Firefly and Adobe Photoshop, kind of back and forth. We'll probably be using some of the Firefly technology in Adobe Photoshop, but we're going to be using them separate, together, mixed up, all that fun. So chat, if you have suggestions, if you have ideas, please put them in chat for us. We're going to get started, kind of get into a workflow, and then if you have suggestions, please drop them in the chat.
Yeah, okay, so let's pop into Photoshop Beta. So for those of you who don't have Photoshop Beta, just go onto Adobe app. Under the beta, you can like find Photoshop and every other beta you can download. The reason why we're using Photoshop Beta is because you have this like toolbar, all this like new generative fill, generative image with this icon right here. If you click it, it's pretty much like a Firefly building into Photoshop Beta, right?
Yep. So
it's 70 use, which will show some demo and quick usage. But let's take a look at this cute little porcupine. Yeah.
Little hedgehog.
Hedgehog. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, I know Emily Poulin is in chat. Emily loves hedgehogs, and so Emily is very happy already. Five-star stream.
5-star stream, nice. So basically, what I want you to understand, like, is pretty much like when you first start art class in art school, this is all about like the shading, tone, and lighting, right? So you need to understand like when the composite of light coming is not just a flat. So all the photo we see on the canvas on the screen, right, is flat 2D.
Yep.
But if you think about how light is just not coming from like left to right or top to bottom, it actually comes from like front and behind, right? So if this is your subject, it comes all around. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So for example, the studio light, there's one here, two there, right? So it's everywhere. So it's kind of like an easy understanding. You see like when the light is right here, I'm gonna use a different color for the lighting so it's easier to see, right? Lights coming here, there's like shadows and everything. So kind of like a breakdown, like some of you probably already know this or like have seen this before, right? So for example, if we're using hedgehog, well, sorry, yeah, Sonic, which is called Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic.
If the light is coming from here, right, let's say it's from the back or something, then the shadow will probably look like something like, I'm gonna reduce that to 30%, 50. Or probably like right, like then this is showing like the shadow is coming from the back.
Yep.
If it's more to the camera, you'll show like more light is gonna start to show it on the top and the back of it, right? So you kind of like understanding how like every light shadow doesn't work differently in every scenario. You can kind of also tell like when we move the light, let's say if we move it to here, right? Let's say from the bottom, just to make it dramatic.
Yes.
We'll create a new layer, clip in here.
And we're basically making a new layer. We're clipping it so that it only affects the layer underneath it. And we just hold Alt or Option in between those layers and it will clip it in. And then we're painting over with black at like 30%. Is that kind of the vibe?
Opacity 30%, because I just want to show you like a quick understanding of it so we're not really like taking over or like do the actual editing, right? I'm inverting it so it's easier to see. Actually, you know what? I might just change the background color to gray scales. So
now we can go.
see.
Yep.
Kind of see a little bit better, right? And then going from here, that's it. If our sunlight highlight part is yellow and then the shadow part, let's just use dark brown, so it's easier to see, right? So I'm gonna kind of draw where the highlight usually come from. So you're gonna have like a soft lighting coming from here, right? Probably some highlights on the face, the bottom of the nose, shadows gonna casting on that, right? And then so you kind of have to think about like, imagine this is an actual 3D object, how things will look. So where there is light, there will be shadow, contrast with it, but not like 100%, right? So this is like, and light leaking too, so it's like bouncing around. This is like kind of understanding.
When we're flipping back and forth, we basically have set the foreground color and set the background color, and then we're just hitting X is the hotkey to flip back and forth between those. So I think we have a brush, and then we're just flipping back and forth to add in those highlights and those shadows.
Yeah, so this is just kind of like an easier way for you guys to see what the light will look like when you shine it on the subject, right? So it comes very like important understanding when it comes to photo image. So
And are you always just using like 30% opacity? Do you ever use blending modes? Are we like changing to like soft light?
It's all depend, which I'll show you like right now, because right. So this is a quick demo to help you guys to understand like what does light do, right, and everything. So we're gonna jump into this concept that I did a collaboration with the other artist, Mac Diaz. He's also a speaker at Adobe, right, Adobe Mac. So I was like, hey, let's do some fun collaboration. So he generates on this like giant rock human shape, and for me to like use in the artwork. And the concept is like kind of from like Attack on Titan, the animes or anything, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So from there, like, let's say if we don't have the final composite in there, let's say this is what we are working with right now, right? So like we want to blend these two giants with the background. Like what would be something
that's crazy
I do,
seeing
right?
the source and
source file,
yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you guys again, just in case like if I'm going too fast, you can kind of see this is like the difference in between.
Wow, like the atmosphere,
so
the color,
like,
there's so many different elements that are changed, but it doesn't look different, but it fits into the background image a lot better.
Yeah, so you want to understand like this is a little bit more complex. So like if you're a photographer or you have like a background from photography, basically you want to understand, or if you ever go to national parks, right, you see those like mountain peaks far away, like how light is being diffused and bouncing around with the fog or like the cloud and everything. When it comes to composite, you have to also remember what it looks like, or you can always look for reference image on Adobe stock, like looking at like, hey, if we pop into Adobe stock, you can pop in here, say like landscape photography, right? And it kind of like give you like a reference image and understanding. You see, like especially this one is a very good example. It's a very good example to understand how the light diffusing work, right? There's not 100% detail, not 100% like saturated. It's a little bit desaturated to the background, and there is layers. So you want to bring that into your composite editing for understanding the same reference image.
Yep, and I think that is, I feel like this is true. It's called atmospheric perspective, I think. And there is perspective of like angles, and there's also perspective of distance, like we just showed, that it will change the sizing, it will change how much you can see it, it will change like the opacity of it, which I think is interesting to think about things being at perspective, but also perspective being distance and visibility of like how far can I see, not only like what angle am I looking at, but how far can I see at that angle.
Exactly, yeah. So it's good to have you here because like there's a lot of like actual term I don't remember. I just been doing it for so long. It's like, that's how it works, right? So first thing first, what do you do when you jump into a new file and you're trying to blend things together, right? How do you tell where the light comes from? For obviously like for me, I can kind of see the light is coming from the right side, but for those of you who are just starting, the best way for me to do is to turn everything into black and white. So color plays like a very key elements to like color adjusting, color grading when it comes to like movie and film. But when you take it away, you can actually focus more on textures, patterns, perspective, and everything else that's the element design being there, because we were so distracted by color all the time. So when you take it away, it's actually way easier to kind of see like, oh, okay, like when I zoom into this mountain, right, I can see like, okay, the highlight is like coming from here, right? So you can kind of tell that light is coming from here. There's shadow, light, shadow, light, shadow. So that kind of like give it that depth of field building up.
That's so interesting.
It's not just a one single flat layer. So
and it's something that you could probably add like a threshold layer on there too to see like where the hardest like whites are and where the darkest darks are.
Yeah. So for me, I just use brightest and contrast because you can kind of just tell. But using sorry, what was it called again?
Threshold?
Yeah. It's somewhere around here, right?
It is.
I know it's
one of
right
those.
there.
I don't know
there,
which
right
one.
here.
Okay.
This one. I know where it is.
no.
I'm just trying to figure out where it is here. So you can kind of move it around and then to see like the darkest part where the shadow is.
Yep.
And you can see where the brightest part where the highlight is coming from. So when you zoom out from the canvas, you can tell that okay, like the light is definitely coming from where the sunset is, right? That's like the dawn. Yeah, it's like right before sunset.
Yep.
So that's like have
Dusk,
that whole glowing dusk. Yeah. So you can kind of say, okay, the light is coming from there. So what do we need to do to adjust our giant is just to flip in back to facing the other right? So
Oh, that's interesting because you know that the sun was coming from. Hold on, wait. My hand. There we go. It's reversed for us. Is that the sun was coming in from this angle, and you need it coming in from this angle, and so if you just flip it, and then you can readjust that light.
Yeah, and then you can do like a quick masking, pretty much. Let's see. Then when I do this, just want to show you guys how easy that is. When you press W, you have the right layer on. There's select subject right here or remove background, right? But you can just do one click. I'll just show you. It should be able to select most of it. Let's just see. Yeah, you see like this is why it selects. So it's like almost perfect. So for me, what I did is I created a layer mask by clicking this icon, or this you can create a layer selections right there. And then I just went into like kind of detailing more, right? So it's like a better soft edge
Crispy edges.
selections, crispy, very crispy. To use that, but you can also tell that the light is not like perfectly same as the background, because you can tell like there is light coming there, kind of coming from the top right side. Yeah, so like there is shadow as in light, but it's pretty as close as like what we wanted to blending, and all you just do some like color and then like other like minor fixing, fine tuning. It will look like pretty much the same. That when you put the color back, you can barely notice. Right?
Yep. And great question from chat. Do you know of any books or videos that go into in-depth lighting, perspective composition? Is there anything that you've like learned from, or have you kind of just trial and error figured it out?
Perspective wise, I know like for filmmaking, there's this book, Visual Elements or something called. It's by this author, Bruce something.
I'll find it.
Visual storytelling or something.
Okay.
I forgot. Yeah, so that one kind of just talk about like black and white films, the line pattern, how like lights and everything work. I think it's the second one, that one.
This one.
Yeah,
Okay, so
one,
it is, yes, by Bruce Block, called The Visual Story.
Yeah, but that one's kind of like helped me to understand storyboarding and how like the movie scene works, right? Everything. So that definitely does help me when it comes to design elements.
Which, yeah, it was cool because I think that your work is very cinematic. Like, I wouldn't think
thank
about
you.
that, but like looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a very much like storyboard or like hero shot. Even this reminds me of kind of like The Green Knight. There's like a setup that's actually like there's like giants walking through, and like you said, Attack on Titan, like it is capturing those moments of like a larger story, which is really cool.
Yeah, so and I study a lot of like great concept artists. You can just type in like on Pinterest or on Behance, type in concept art, conceptual photography, or anything similar, storyboard, and kind of do like a quick deep study of like some of your favorite artists and kind of understand like how they use color, perspective, everything design into it. Perspective wise, I kind of have like a practice more on photography. So I taken photo from like many different angles, so it helps me to understand what thing looks like. You can also grab like 2 random subjects, put it on your desk, and then change your camera angle to look the reference photo. But I know like some great artists like also taught like perspective class and stuff. I should probably take it just to understand more. I feel like if I can't fully explain it, that means I haven't mastered that yet. So I don't think I have mastered the perspective yet. That is my weak point. But yeah, so but that if I will want to study, that is the direction I would go with.
Check those out. And so we are going to show you more about lighting on this stream as well. But Wade Acuff, who dropped that question in the chat, Wade, you have a video that you can send. Wade did a challenge a little while ago on Photoshop teaching you how to understand lighting and lighting basics. So Wade, if you can drop the link to your own video,
Nice.
it is a really great resource to understand and learn about lighting. It was an awesome stream. So Wade, if you can find that, I'm sure you have it somewhere, and drop it in for our friend Jaylene, that would be awesome.
I need that link too. You know?
Yeah, drop it in chat. We'll come back and we'll look at it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
because
Wade.
it's just so good to learn like new technique and tricks from other artists, and then it just helps so much, you know. So slide me a DM with the
Yeah,
link.
right. Okay, so we have the
we gotta
background
jump back in
removed.
here.
We have our
Yes.
object here, and now the lighting is still a little bit off. What are we going to do to address the lighting?
Yeah, so while we're doing that, there's also like the color, right? So it's kind of like, think about there is highlight, midtones, and shadow. And to target those 3 things, these are some of the tools I love to use. First is like hue saturation. So if you click this, if you don't have this window, I think it is under window adjustments that you can see this, or you can also go into layer adjustment layer, new adjustment layer. But for me, it's just way easier to click of the panel on the top right corner.
Yep, that's so funny because I literally have never used that panel.
Oh really? I love that panel.
Yeah, it's great that like everyone just has different workflows, but like we said, there's no wrong way to do things. Like there's just different ways, and I love that this literally I can think of 4 different ways to get to those.
Yeah.
And like we use completely different ways, and we get like it's the same result either way. You're getting the same tool, which is really cool.
We use whichever is faster for you, or
yes,
the
whatever you're comfortable
way.
with. Yeah,
exactly. The second one is color balance. Is this right here? So I'll group them so it's easier to see. And then the third one is my secret weapon is this icon right here. When you click the circle, it's called selective color. There's probably a different way to use this. I have no idea. So if you know, like, let me know, and I'll show you what it does. So hold options again or Alt, and then just click them back to our giants, right? So when I turn this off, all the layers just follow it. We can put it into a group too, just easier to see. Color coded, maybe. Oh, that's an interesting color.
Color coding.
It's just easier for demo.
No,
for myself, I know where everything is.
We love staying organized.
Yeah. So what you want to do, you can always like for me. Sometimes I like to desaturate a little bit, and then this is when you jump into color balance, and then you can kind of like see mid-tone is obviously a little bit more pink, magenta, reddish. So I'm gonna add that color into there because you can already tell that dramatically changing that blending better, right?
Yep.
And kind of going to shadow, it's a little bit more bluish with that.
And also when you're working, especially on compositing, nothing is ever black and white. There is never a like full black and there is never a full white. It is always some kind of color. And so when you're looking, try to figure out what's the darkest part of the image and then just sample it with the eyedropper tool. And when you pull it up big, you'll realize like it's never black. You're like, this is literally green. Like, and because of the way that all the colors balance, it just makes it look like it's black. And so it's great for getting reference on compositing things in. Just find a dark part, sample it out, and then you'll see that it's not actually black.
Talking about that, the other tips I have on that is also like the image you want to use to blend, right? You can select the kind of the darkest part on there.
Yep.
And then just like 100% opacity, draw on that, and this is kind of like the highlight.
Yep.
So you could try to match the darkest part on your subject and then the highlight on there to kind of like trying to match the color of it. It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Yeah, but that's
as long as
so
in
smart.
That family, thank you. As long as in that family category, it kind of trick your eyes to like understand, oh, that's pretty much the same. You know?
Yeah, and that's great to just swatch them and draw them next to each other to be like, how close am I to hitting what these two things should be the same color? How close am I to that? That's really smart. I like that.
Yeah, it's a fun way to like learn. Just like, oh yeah, like that would be like kind of simple to see. But obviously our subject is gonna be far away, right? If they're closer, it's gonna be like this high contrast and everything. But if they're further away, we'll pen over it.
Yep.
From there, and it comes to my favorite tool is selective color. This is like an interesting. Basically, the only 3 I'll be using is the whites, neutrals, and then the blacks.
Yep.
Basic thing about it is highlight, midtone, and shadow. It's the same thing. But for some reason, it has this like bar you can slide so you can change the contrast of the shadow on it, which I love it a lot. It just helped me to match that tone like all the time. So I don't know if there's a different way, you know, like it could do the same thing.
I can think of another way, but it's way worse than this. So there is another way to do this. It's not as good as this.
So this is like my favorite secret weapon.
It's really good to get into detail.
Yeah, so it pretty much targeting the difference. So the white is probably gonna like targeting the snow part, the highlights of it. So you don't need to do too much work. The general like the mid-tone, right? You can see like white affecting, and you can add like different tone backing, like more red, more green, or more blue. So it does a really good job for me to like just to trying to match that fade washed away color. I think you can do the contrast on that. Yes.
I think that selective color too is the best way to visualize like moving around lights. That like as you're changing those settings, you can kind of like feel the light moving further away and moving up, moving to the side, like putting a gel over it. You can really like, as you drag those, see in real time and almost think about like, where is my light in relation to the object?
Yeah, so you can see like this color is actually pretty close to this color. It's in the same family, so it's just like, hey, your eyes can your eyes will do fine with it, like not noticing too much detail.
Yep, especially if they're not like overlapping right next to each
Yeah.
other. It's like, okay, cool. There's
Now,
some
if it goes like super in, you know, I was like, okay, like it still matched the color tone and everything, but like you probably wouldn't notice too much of difference, right?
Yep. And thank you. Wade has dropped the link in there to his live stream about lighting. So go check that out. Add it to a playlist. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
All right. So we have selective color. We have all of our adjustment layers on here. And now we're going to start actually painting stuff in, right?
Yeah, so one thing you can do is always sample the color around the background, like kind of like getting faded color and drop your opacity to 30%. I personally press the numbers on top of my keyboard. 1 is 10%, 9 is 90%, 0 is 100, or you can type a 35, that's 35%. So I kind of just like tap it really fast.
What? You can just change opacity by just hitting the numbers? I literally have never known
If
that.
you press 0.5, that's 5%, 50%, 0.
I need to watch more Adobe Live. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I usually kind of go with 30%, and you can just kind of like paint the highlighting or shadow, kind of like in that fading color, and then use like giant brush because it's like fading color away, right? And then a little bit more purple on the top, and then press E as erasing, and also like 30% back. Or you can use mask if you just want to keep the same color, but it's kind of like the same idea. So you see like now this is before and after getting like fade far away, right? So this is
so
all the
cool.
4 layers we just add in. So this is before and after. Just some very simple editing, but everything can fade it in nicely already. Recently, I saw this really cool tutorial on YouTube by Amish Pixel.
Yes, who I believe is coming on next week on Tuesday for a graphic design. I might be lying about that. Wade, please keep me honest. Is coming on Adobe Live next week to be doing spotlights. So if you want to check that out, we're learning. Sorry, finish your story. Go for it.
No worries. So here, I'm just going to move this a little bit off so you can kind of see where the subject is. So he showed this tutorial. I think this maybe, I don't know how new that tutorial was, but it was new to me. So basically, you copy the background, clip mask to the subject, and then you use filter like blur, Gaussian blur to like really blur it. The color kind of like this maybe. And then you change the blending mode to color and then kind of like reduce it. Here, let me turn this other end there. So
that's interesting.
It kind of add into the background color onto your subject. So kind of like give you like a head start of like blending everything together. And from that, you do like the more added into
detail.
And
it almost is pulling like, it's almost pulling like almost like a ray trace of like where the light would be bouncing. You're getting some of that color from the bounce of the clouds, which is really cool.
So if I turn this back to normal and 100%, you guys can have like a better looking of understanding. You see this now.
Yep.
So this is like what he did. I was like, you know what, that is really cool. And I never thought of it because I can just add that to top of my editing and then kind of like give it like a better fading color to change the blending mode.
That's
drop
cool.
in that.
And I lied,
based
chat.
on that, right?
Unmesh literally was on Tuesday. So it was 2 days ago. You missed it.
What time traveling?
Thank you. Someone saying it was yesterday. Yeah, it happened. You can go check that out and check out the spotlight if you want to learn more from him as well.
Yeah, and so from there, like this is pretty much like close as our first man giant right here. So it's pretty close, right? So you can see this one's like definitely more fading color. It's like more fine detail tuning, but I was in there pretty close.
Yeah, and seeing the difference between the one in the foreground and the one in the background, like, is staggering.
Right,
to be like, wow, it like is so jarring in the background. And like initially, I didn't really think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, it like kind of fits. But now seeing them side by side, you're like, oh, that one in the back is not even close.
Yeah.
Which means that what was there before is also like not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can also just like fade it a little bit, drop a little bit opacity that you don't really see through. You have that feeling, or you can just sample the color again. I'll just create a new layer, clip it, so you know I can always change that. So I think there's like more pink on that one, right? Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I got it pretty close. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so it's kind of to that. So the same thing goes with the second guy. I'm just going to expand his layer so you can kind of see this is what I did to him. Desaturating, kind of painting with the color because like that one is more of like closer to the horizon. So that's when the more sun haze, more hazy around that area, right? More lighting. So if we scroll up right here, you can see that I did paint more like color in the front, just kind of like give it like a, oh, that's the layer. Now you see what I did with there.
Wait, that's not. I thought that's crazy that the cowboy is not a part of that image.
Oh, no, the cowboy is faded in there, so he's added it. I think this is like the dust that I adding with like some brush and stuff. Oh yeah, he's right here, you know, so did a little bit like crazy editing.
That's so crazy. I thought that it was all one, and then you turned off the layer, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, whoops. Yeah, he's right there, you know. So did I turn something up? I don't know. Here, let's go back in here. Yeah, so the cowboy is there. And then this is what happened when I don't color code all my layers. Now I'm lost.
No. There are a lot of layers.
Okay, there you go. Now I found you. They're right here. Okay, everything's looking good. I was going to show the haze that I pinned on top of it, but I guess, yeah, that's a layer I lost. But then on the top of that, I also added the dust here, because you know when the giant's stomping on the desert, there's a lot of dust coming out. So when you zoom out, it kind of gives like an overall, like they are moving around this giant scene.
And is the dust just stock that you've masked in?
No, I think I painted it. So if we go into the dust layer,
how did you paint dust in?
You can kind of see like this is here.
Is it clouds that you like?
Yeah. Oh,
in?
so here comes the other thing right here. I'm gonna hide this layer, create a new one.
I like that this stream has just turned into me like trying to figure out how Ted does things.
So you press F5. This is all the brushes that I collect throughout the years.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like concept artists that also give away like free brushes that I can use because they do a lot of amazing detail painting. This is why I love concept artists. That's just so cool. So in this, like you can use like this is like water splash. It's a pretty good one to create like dust particle too. This is like waves, like ocean waves. It could be. There's also cloud. I do have cloud too, right? There is like better thing. You can also blur it. I do have cloud. I also have hair. This one creeps me out a lot because it's like actual real hair.
Oh, that's too much.
That's a
weird brush.
That's before hair selections was perfect on Photoshop, like 3 years ago. I didn't have a choice, so I have to fake paint the hair when it comes to model selecting to like do the edge thing.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
so you're like, oh, I have to give you new hair.
Yeah, there's also like the grass brush. I know we're going over like a lot of brushes, but I'm trying to find my cloud brush. It should be here. No, right here. Sorry. This is my perfect cloud. That I sample. You can create it in Photoshop too. So you can just kind of like
so crazy. That's just a brush.
You can kind of do like that, right? And then just go like filter, blur, motion blur, maybe do the sideway, and then like you can drag it more or like with the angle. So this one changed the angle, this one changed the distance, and then from there you can also like go back to blur. Gaussian blur. It's also one of my other favorite tool. Kind of go with that, right? And then reduce that to like 30%, and then bring back to your brush to erase, and then kind of like clear it. I'm using 30%, press it, kind of brush it back so it feels like there is cloud and dust going on. So that's kind of like I got a detail of
that's so
that
crazy
right there. So you can
quick.
see it. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. So I learned a lot from like concept artists to do a lot of studies. Like, how do you guys do this? Right? They're so good with like painting everything, and then it works a lot to bring that onto your photo composite too. You know, with the lighting, sampling, color, because like So this is like the fun idea that we created for our collaboration. Which let me turn this off. You'll see like I put a tiger, here. Yeah, so the tiger was the demo I was doing yesterday on the pro tip, just trying to like put that one in here. I don't have the file of that here, I think. Or maybe I do. So this is like the quick demo of like editing with lights and everything, right? But obviously you can tell
he's
the
about to eat
difference
that
on there.
cowboy.
Yeah. The only thing that's missing is kind of like remember when they're far away in the shade that you don't really see the details. So you can kind of just turn the brightness to them and then kind of like brush with the highlights on there. So it's kind of like feels like the tiger is real, So just a quick lighting changing, reducing it, have added like a huge different effect to your subject, right? So understand lighting, reference, pulling all the reference image you could find anywhere, make it looks real.
Yeah, this is so fun. I love this stream and I love learning. Emily says Andrew's just playing I Spy. Yeah, I'm like seeing the things you're doing and I'm like, how are you doing that? Like I'm trying to like piece it apart and then you show it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought about that.
Oh yeah, talking about eye spot, I think let me check this one out. So this one is more different. This one I didn't really do much of lighting and everything. Does it has what's let's see. Okay. Some layer is hidden. Well, obviously you can tell I didn't clean this layer up. But where is the concept? Basically this is like the social post on my last Instagram post. Oh, I guess this is the original file. But I'll jump back to my Instagram. Oh, sorry, real quick. I was gonna play.
Oh no.
That's interesting.
Oh no.
That just happened.
Bot loss.
But
that happened to me the other day, actually.
Oh, there you go. You can see this is like the quick connecting the tornado of
Yep.
like I see it's like the tornado twister when two tornado goes around.
Twisters.
Yeah, so it's like it looks like a person is walking. So this is the old file, but on the new file I pretty much add like a little cow in here. It's like very tiny that you can barely see, but
Yes.
it's like blurry by the wind.
Well, I think that helps you get scale. Is doing something like really small makes everything look really big.
Yeah.
And it gives you that like really huge dimension.
Yeah, oh, that was funny. The got bought it on Instagram. It's okay.
I know, right?
I'll fix it after this stream. I know someone works there. Okay, anyway, so jumping back to this, we have the tiger showing. So next one, we're going to show this demo. It's just like a fun concept I have. It's like a giant monster's eyeball hiding in this cave, right?
I love that story.
Yeah, but basically, I'm just going to show you guys real quick what I've done here, like my thought process. So basically, I already went in and then added a few different layers to kind of like enchanting the look. So the eyeball is like a 3D model that I put it in there. And from there, it's like the key point is understand the lighting, right? So let me just add a new layer right here.
And when you're starting this, are you like looking through stock for an image? Do you like see something? You're like, oh, it'd be fun to put like an element in. Do you have a concept that you're trying to like?
Sometimes has a concept. Sometimes I just want to play with the idea, you know.
Yep.
It's like, oh, this might be a cool idea. This might be a horrible idea, but I just want to try it to just kind of like a daily practice. I try to use Photoshop at least like 3-4 times a week. So almost every day. Sometimes I take a break, just like not doing too much with it. Sorry. But sometimes I'll just like, okay, like, hey, I want to practice on ideas. I have this cool idea. Or I saw this photo. I was like, oh, like I want to try this real quick.
That's so cool.
I also sometimes hit on my artist friends like, hey, I like the photo you just did. Like, can we do a quick collab? I just want to try something on it. Basically, if you turn this into black and white, right, then you can kind of understand where I'm going to use maybe that. Oops. Let me do. So you can kind of like the light is coming from here. So this is where you need to understand the lighting on the sphere, right? The ball. So it should be easy because you have like highlights there, and then it become like shadows around here, right? So this should be like shadows, and then different type of highlights and everything. But here comes the challenge because eyeball is actually reflective, right? There's a lot of textures on there. It's not just like a flat rock hard surface.
Yep.
It's actually something like reflective. So from there, I kind of like going. So this is the first one is like the painting the shadow onto there, right? So you can kind of like see I pin in the shadows and do some like color correctings, the selective color, adding more shadows, highlights, go from there, and then you just see like so many like fine-tuning little details. Cause like, see these two highlight that I just added? Let me see if I can draw it real quick. So pretty much I added a highlight here. Wow. Sorry, that is in the same layer, so I couldn't do that. Pretty much I added a highlight right here and right here. Cause
Yes.
it's like, you know, yeah.
You go.
Go ahead. You go.
No, you go.
No.
You do it. Okay.
You
so
go.
yes, because your eyes are spheres, and there actually is like space in between the muscle that you see of the iris and like the outside wall of where the reflection is. And so when the light hits, it actually will hit in two places because it's going through your eye and not just bouncing off of your eye. And so if you're ever doing a portrait, if you have a light that is coming at an angle, always do the highlight in your eye in two places, not just one, because the light is technically bouncing through.
Yeah, so there's like reflection, there's like light go through. So this is like the highlights I add on there just to mimic the realistic of the eyes, right? That's
and your
where
your eye is
to,
like less of a rock and more of like a glass of water, and so it does like the light goes through because there is that like little area that is just eye juice.
Exactly. So I didn't notice it when I first did the composite. I look at it, I was like, okay, something is off. So usually when I notice something doesn't look right, I let the idea and the concept sit there for a day or two and come back to it. Or I'll send it to my friend, just like, hey, what am I missing, right?
Yeah.
So there's like, oh, something doesn't look real. So I was like, okay, I'll come back later. So this is like where I realized, like, hey, the eye with the light reflection, it go through. It doesn't do like all the weird thing. I forgot to add it on there, right? And from there, like, keep going with like adding more shadows. I even went into like pop the vein, like you can see the red part of the vein, just to like make it look like as real as possible. Like double sharpen the iris on there, and then just like keep adding like color, fine tuning. Just like, I just want to get this right, you know. So this is the detail on that. You can obviously, the vein is like scary, like
how
real
did you
looking.
do the veins?
So the 3D model itself has a very tiny vein textures already.
Okay.
So basically what I do is just selecting by going to select and then color range, and then I click the redness on the model.
Yep.
And then like enchanting like super bright onto it, and then from there it goes to like color burn. Right, you can see like this is before.
Oh, and it gives you that like
color burn onto that. So this is like the scary part that I add in there, right?
That's
so
great.
It looks like super realistic. So it's like, okay, now it looks like a pretty realistic eyeball that I could do as much as I could, right?
Great.
And then from there, backing out, is like, okay, like if that is a subject that's in the cave, right, underground, there should be like some clouds or low fog that's covering the cave, the atmosphere, right, like the whole thing. So I added the cloud, and then that's our doodling. So I added the cloud backing and kind of giving like the whole thing of everything. And from there I was like, okay, something still looks weird, because like the darkest part right here, it should be reflective of the environment that's around your eye. So I actually did some reflections on the side of the cliff, but you just can't really see too much.
Gosh, we're falling apart here.
We're talking so
My
much.
goodness, I know, it's so much talking.
Yeah. And from there I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna add a little cloud, like reflecting back
interesting.
in there. Yeah. So it's kind of like just adding. So
Why would you not reflect it on the white area? Why would it only be reflecting on the dark area?
Yeah, so I actually did a little bit on the white area. I just can't really see because it's been covered on so much layer. So the dark area, I just like kind of like have it. Like I was trying to, I look out so much reference on like portrait close out of eyes. I was like, okay, the black bar should be the most obvious one, like reflecting everything.
And if you think about it, white is absorbing the light and the black is reflecting the light, and so it really, I mean, it's the same as like when you use your phone, right?
Yeah.
If it's on, you can't see yourself, and then when it goes dark, it's just your face like looking at yourself. And so when you're working with something that is shiny, that is dark, it will always reflect what's around it.
Yeah, probably some water.
Thank you.
I was just like, oh, it's getting dry here. But yeah, so then you turn it to black and white. For me, it kind of looks like pretty realistic compared to color. A lot of people do like color. I kind of like black and white. Which one do you guys like, right? I kind of like the feeling of drawing, of like how detailed that is. Kind of looks like a real eyes.
Yeah. It's funny because I see this and I can imagine the rest of the scene that it's almost this monster that's like under the cave. Like these are his glasses and like his eyes are there and there's like a big mouth that's like somewhere else that he like, I don't know, eats clouds as they fall in.
Yeah, and I forgot from there, I do have I did use a mask to pen over it because it's not super strong reflection. So this is like before, and I put a layer mask. So this looks like even more realistic, right? Probably easier to see when this is before and after. So it's like, oh, now you have a depth of field, different layers of reflection on the eye. So yeah.
It's so cool. It's cool too seeing it in black and white, like how cinematic you can get with it. And even just the toning being so correct that you're like, cool, even in black and white, it still works.
Thank you. So if we go all the way back, this is before and after. Right, you see the huge difference. And we'll go again, right here. We'll go in a little bit more. This is before the eyeball, have some clouds and everything, but this is after with like the fine detail. How
Man, it looks so separate in the before, and then like you just took a photo in the after.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun to do that. Okay, So from there, we're gonna pop into this one. So this is like a fun thing. I actually personally went to Alaska to see Northern Light. So this is a photo of mine.
Yes. I'm going to
Quick water
Alaska
break.
in a few weeks, and I was hoping to see the Northern Lights, and then realized I'm going in the summer when the sun doesn't set, and it will just
Great,
be bright
wow, it's
for,
gonna be so bright
for
all
8
the time.
days, yeah, which would be really fun.
Yeah, quick tip, if you want
you.
to go to chase aurora in Alaska, go between September and March. Probably a little bit in mid-April, you still be able to see it. I went there, did a whole studies, and I was like, okay, I know how to find it. So
Yes, I
it's
am going
great.
back in September, so I'm crossing my fingers I'll be able to see it.
Yeah, so you should be able to see, just track with the weather space and everything. But so when it comes to like glowing objects blending, obviously you don't really need to worry about lighting too much. More of a color, because I just want to show you a quick demo of my jellyfish. They're pretty much, so I generate the jellyfish in Firefly to use it like the green glowing jellyfish. That's like what I use. But all you have to do pretty much, let's see if I can just duplicate this real quick, take it out of the elements, hiding that, sorry. Just hiding that real quick, because I just want to see, this is isolated, yeah. So all you have to do for like, to change the blending and everything, so this is the photo image I generated in Firefly, so it's like pretty cool, right? And when you want to do like blending like glowing objects and animals, all you have to do is kind of just simply change that to screen, and it does pretty much a good job. And all you have, like after that, just mask it, right?
Yep, and I think people are used to using multiply, and multiply just like, basically, screen is the exact opposite of multiply. Multiply takes out all of the lighter parts, and screen takes out all the darker parts. So if you have something on a black background, just change it to screen, and it will pull out all of the black of that image.
Yeah, what does multiply do on there?
Ooh, great question from Emily Poulin. Has Firefly integration and generative fill changed your workflow significantly, especially for someone that does like surreal composites? Has it changed your workflows?
So that's the tornado one I wanted to show, because I actually made that with Firefly.
Oh,
no,
cool.
sorry, Photoshop beta generated image. So basically,
Oh, cool.
I create a background, expand the canvas, and then I type tornadoes, generate 2 separate one, extend it, and then create a new tornado, and then use that as the leg with puppet wrap and everything. So
Triple
make the
tornado.
leg and everything. Yeah. So there is a time lapse. Obviously, I can't show it on my Instagram right now for some reason. But yeah. So,
actually, yeah, you keep going. I might be able to show on your Instagram.
Yeah.
I can see if I can pull it up.
I don't even know if my Instagram works at this point, but
Cool.
you can
All
see
right.
if it works. So
Give me a second. I'll take a
So
look.
blending is pretty easy, and if you want to enhance the looking of it, I would suggest kind of simple the dark background. Oh yeah, you can totally pull it out. That one, the second video. That
Got
one.
it.
Yeah.
That one.
Hold on, wait for it, and then
There it is.
this goes to how fast, crazy editing. I did a little funny sound effect and everything.
Oh, we did some puppet warps in there?
Yeah, puppet rub and
meshes.
Then I used the Firefly to generate the textures and everything too, with the particle that flies around. So yeah,
That's
pretty cool. I did a good job on that reel.
That's what you're like, yeah, killed it.
Yeah, so that's the inspiration where it come from, the tornado walking, right? So you can see I used the generative fill right there, got everything up on there, using the wave splash again for the textures on the ground with the rocks.
Yep.
Right, painting the shadow, copying from Firefly, do color adjustment, and boom, right there.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can stop it. Just keep playing.
Go check it out on his Instagram, and you can watch that and go leave a comment, leave a little heart in there. All right, back to the jellyfish.
Yeah,
From
that's pretty fun.
the tornadoes into the jellyfish fields.
Oh yes. So to enchant it, if you have a glowing object and you're using blending multi-screen to make it brighter, I would say it's simple, like the darkest part of your canvas, and kind of like use 80% or so, and then you can brush it back underneath it. So now you kind of give it that like more effect, right? So basically how it works is like, from my understanding, the screen blend works better when the background is darker.
Darker,
right?
yep.
Yeah, when it's darker.
Yep.
So if I don't have the northern light in the back, just like 100% like black, right? It makes it so much glowing and strong. So pretty much I'm using that same method to apply back into this jellyfish, and then reducing. So if your subject is not glowing too much, you can always add a little bit black or shadow in the back, so it has more elements to make it glow. Does that make sense? Right? So it depends how you want to use it. So I just a quick sample to show you like what I did to make these works. I think I broke the file, so I'm just gonna go back. Yeah, there you go. Everything looks great again.
I love when you have a finished file and then you're like, oh, let me show you how you did this, and then you finish, you're like, I broke it and I don't know what happened here.
Yeah, we're jumping back, but it's pretty much the same thing. Oh, okay, that layer was unclipped. That's why. So look, the same thing here again. After I'm done with here, you can still see some other edge glowing part. So I'm pretty much using the selective color layer again, popping here, changing that. This also help you to get rid of that other part that's like doesn't blend well.
Yep.
Yeah, to blending into that. So yeah, that changed that thing. So I think that also works the same as how these two thing works, the blend-if.
Yes.
Which I don't really master it, but I know you guys did.
Oh, yes. At some point, gosh, I've done a tutorial on blend-if. At some point, chat, I promise, I will show you the blend-if tool. It's super powerful. You know what? Come back at 1 p.m. and I will show you how to use the blend-if tool. It's really great for doing mock-ups, and it is the best way to put something onto another thing. So come back at 1 p.m. Chat, I'm going to forget by then, so I need you to remind me during office hours to show the blend-if tool.
Nice. And then from there, I think I added the tent on there too, and then the fireplace. Yeah, so the little fireplace and tents are all added in there. It's the same method, using the glow, and then I pinned a little glowing on the top, right? So if I remove
I love the little details that you add that just like tell the story a little bit better.
Thank you. So, because I love camping, so this is how I imagine.
Yep.
If I'm there, that's how I see jellyfish and northern light. Right?
Was that a generative layer that you masked?
Yes. Yes. So this is a generative layer. Yeah, you see tent glowing light. That's the little tent I generate. With
yes.
That. Yeah. So it does have with the generative fill right here. Pick my right tent, masked it twice, and then did a little glowing. So glowing is pretty easy. Create a new layer. I usually pick like orange. That's like the glow that I like to use. Change your blending mode to screen, and then just press that, right? So this gives you a glowing. And then my favorite thing also to make the super realistic glowing is you use 30%, create a bigger circle, right? So bracket on your keyboard, change the size of it if you press it. So I'll say like do this and then smaller, like making like that. Just shrink the brush size. And then pen on it, and then reverse it, put a little white light in there also, and then reverse back, kind of like pen it, and then like, kind of like make that nice
so
light
smart.
glow.
That's so smart.
It looks super realistic, right?
To just change your brush size so that it becomes more concentrated in the middle, and then add like the
that's how light works.
That's so smart.
So you can be like,
I love these little tips and tricks.
This is pretty fun.
Glowing
I'm just
orbs.
having fun. Glowing orbs, right? Then you can add it in there and then duplicate it, changing colors or whatever to give that. That looks like a face. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so then you can add like a little different hue saturation to just kind of like giving like a different northern light stars, a north star, right?
That's so cool.
So that's one of my favorite way to add glow onto object of lighting, right? Like candle light or portraits or anything. It's really, really fun. From there, we're gonna jump into this one. So,
yes, and we got about 8 minutes left. So
yeah, so 8 minutes. Well, maybe not have time to show Adobe Express.
We can get close.
Yeah, but basically, like this is just a fun way to use the generative AI and fill. So I pretty much use generative background image generative right here. I just click that and create like a sand dune. So I'm gonna hide all this file. I think that's the sword. Right, you can see Firefly. I use Firefly to create like the sand dune, and then I was playing with like generate image with like a blade, and then kind of create like sword, and then do like some detail like painting, and with like some other lights, and then use the Firefly 2 to copy that here with a red long clock.
So all these are Firefly. The sword's Firefly and the scene is Firefly?
Yeah, so we're going to try to see if we can create one right now,
Ooh.
So when you open a new file, you can see like this import image or generate image. When you click it, if you don't see that toolbar, it's also right here on the bottom left. Sometimes it went away, so just click that. You can type in there, sand dune.
On the clock.
Then
here we go.
Escape. Click photo. Reference image. I don't have reference image, so I'm just going to ignore that. But if you guys don't know how that works, let me know so I can show you how it works. Hyper realistic, that's the style I like to use. So this pretty much just operates as a Firefly. So we're going to generate and see what we have right here.
And this is the first time that you can actually generate a whole image is in the Photoshop beta. If you don't have it, open up the Creative Cloud app and you can download the Photoshop beta in the app.
Yep, and we have some cool ones. So let's see. Concept-wise, I personally probably would like more skies on there, right?
Yep.
So I'm just gonna drag this down. Press M. You can also right-click to change the shape of it, or hold Shift M, just like rotating different tool. I think we talked about that last time we hang out.
Yep.
Selecting that, just generate fill, leave it blank to see if we get a better sky.
And this is a really great way to extend your photos. We also, if you have something that is cropped in, you can use Generative Extend, where you can just crop out, and then it will generative fill whatever the open area is.
Cool, looking
Boom,
good.
new sky.
On the new Photoshop beta thing, there's also this little icon right here.
Enhance.
Yeah, enhance. So pretty much, like, I think you have to really zoom in to see. This does a pretty good job already. I don't really see the difference.
Yeah, I can't see
If you
the...
press enhance, it's pretty much just got adding more details to the generated from there. So I don't know if I can see any difference.
And this is a pro tip that I actually...
Okay, I can kind of see, like, this is before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
Yeah,
this is
a little
before,
crisper.
wait for 2 seconds, after, so you guys can see. Yeah,
Yep.
so it's more crisp.
A pro tip, if you are working in print design and somebody sends you a design that doesn't have a bleed on it, I use Generative Extend literally all the time to add a bleed. Then I need like an extra ½ inch on an image, is I'll just pull it out to the bleed and then add in and generative fill the edges so that I can have a bleed, because it's gonna get cut off anyway. I just need to make sure that's not gonna get cut off to white. And so generative fill to the rescue if you don't have bleeds on your objects.
Generative fill. As what we mentioned earlier, right? Turn the lights to black and white, the canvas to black and white. This icon right here. So you kind of like, obviously you can totally tell where the light is coming from, right?
Yeah.
On the right side, but it's in that direction, not just like straight, right? It's like that direction off screen. And then what we're gonna do is we could also just select right here, and then we can try to type in soar, but I don't know if that will work. But don't
Let's see what
worry.
happens.
If it doesn't work, like, it's fine. We'll use generative image
Yep.
to make
And
it
special
work.
shout out to our friend Matt Dombrowski. Nice to see you, Matt. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining the chat. And yes, it's perfect for bleed fills, 100%.
I see. Taking a little bit of time. Maybe it's trying to understand. Oh, that actually works pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that at all.
Little bit surprised, like, you know. Oh, that's cute.
Not great. The first one was good. The rest were not.
Somehow the first one worked out.
And
I
like
don't know
even
how,
got the
but it
angle
does.
and like cut it at the
Yeah.
right place.
That's kind of scary. But however, this is what I'm gonna do. So I do like the sword, but I don't know if I like the angle. I'm gonna just test this to see if it looks better, if it's like tilted sideways. Actually, you know what? Straight looks better in this case.
It does.
Yeah.
It's very like Sword in
So,
the Stone.
I'm gonna let it be. The other thing is that I'm gonna try to do this, and then because I'm lazy, so what I did is just I select the whole thing and copy and paste, so I can just use the select subject
Yep.
options.
Yes, or remove
to
background.
do that. Yeah, I don't want to like brush it and do like quick select and everything. Basically, when you're still on this mode right here, right? It doesn't have the option, so maybe we should add that to like select subject again on top of the generate image layer, because like when you're on this, there's still it's still on the what do you call this? The generative layer option. So the interface is still stuck on there, right? So just to be able to trick the Photoshop, just like, hey, I want to select it. I just copy the whole thing and then like tell Photoshop to do the work for me. And then now we have a sword that's like pretty free, right? You can tell this part is missing because like there is the bottom part, but
Which is fine because we're gonna mask it in.
yeah,
anyway.
we just like mask it back in. That's like totally cool, you know, right? Perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but here.
Good enough.
Good enough. Let's get even lazier. We'll just leave it on that. Because like all I want to do is to add lighting, color correction onto the source. So it doesn't really matter
In the
what
next
we're doing.
2 minutes.
Oh, in the next 2 minutes.
Good
Great.
luck, everybody.
Here, we're going to do so all the trips and ticks we learned earlier. And then we're going to drop this right here. Drop that. Drop that. I totally can do
It's so
this.
stressful.
Reduce. And then add a red because it's like gold yellow thing.
It's got like the warmth to it.
Maybe shadow is a little bit blue. No, it's okay. We'll cheat it
The
somehow.
dusky sky.
Yeah, you know. Come on, respawn. No, my tablet. Go
Of course.
look at that.
Of course. This is the time.
This is the time. This is the time. Da 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 da. Do that. Be present thing. Da, da, da.
It's so interesting how it is the same steps for like all of your composites, that you're doing the same steps, just changing the settings in those
It's
steps.
not working. some reason, did I select the wrong part?
Black. It's the
There you
mask
go.
is inverted.
Yeah. Got it. So kind of adding that. Luckily, the lighting, everything looks good already. Okay, there you go. I see why. I'm just gonna add it a little bit.
Not mad about it at all.
No, it has to be perfect to finish this strip. Okay, we can do this. What else we need to do? Okay, gonna add a little layer. I'm just gonna like paint it like that. Kind of getting the
yeah, that
glow,
sun is
getting
very
the
glowy.
shade. Yeah, like make it nice. Like kind of paint it and then reduce that, right? And then we can even create an other there to clip it and add a more highlight into there by picking the screen, blending. Where are you? Right here.
30 seconds.
Kind of for the word. No time to add a hero, but pretty much you get an idea. I was gonna do like other ones like kind of like light glowing here, and then you can like erase
like
it,
little...
like kind of like casting the shadow of that thing.
Yes.
I'm just gonna paint it randomly because I don't know how well that will work, but it's pretty
Still.
much, you get an idea, right? Bring that into the screen. So fun. And then I was gonna add even more scent and everything, but I guess we're running out of time.
We tried. So thanks very much for joining us and learning about lighting. Stick around. Our friend Tyler Pate is coming up next. You get to hang out with Ted a little bit more too.
I'll still be
and
here.
we are going to be adding some texture to the illustrations that we did earlier, creating some different sizes, different colors, and maybe even giving you some phone backgrounds by the end. See you in just a few minutes, everybody. Bye. And come back at 1 for office hours.
Yes,
Bye.
we'll be here. Bye.
So what we're talking about is my favorite thing ever. We're talking about iconography. It's the tiny visuals that help get information across without having to be wordy. So this is a florist company that we're gonna design our icons for today. This is their table of contents right now, and it's sad. And so we're gonna make it a little bit better. There's something called visual balance. You are aware of it, even if you don't know what it's called. It's basically the idea that it doesn't matter if things are the same size, they need to look the same size. So like if you can see here, we have like a square and a circle, and they look, similar in size, but when you actually draw the lines, the circle's actually bigger. This is the circle and the square that are the same size, and you can see that the square looks so much bigger. These are the prompts we're gonna work for. So step 1 is we're gonna just start designing our first icon. It's about soil types, so obviously maybe dirt. For the dirt, I'm thinking obviously we're gonna try to use basic shapes to create these. So I started with just a circle, and we can always adjust. And I'm going to scale this down by about 30%. I'm gonna make these all the same width just so it helps my brain a little bit, but I just locked us in place with Command 2, fun fact. I'm just gonna bring these over here.
Oh, I see where you're going with it.
Copy and paste these. If we wanna edit this, we can without it being destructive. I'm gonna select all of these and I'm gonna come over here. So I'm just gonna combine all these shapes with the Pathfinder tool, direct select those points, connect them at the bottom. I'm gonna come in here with just an oval. I'm gonna do Shift-C, anchor point tool, and this turns points into harsher points rather than curved points. I want this to come in a little bit. Two little leaves, you see where I'm going with this? So I think we're gonna shrink this down a little bit, and we're gonna make our dirt more of the main focus since this is about soil. We're gonna bring this up. What we're gonna do is actually just create a rectangle and see what this does for us. We're gonna come to flowers. Okay, so we're gonna try this. Transform, rotate 90 degrees. Select all of these, transform, rotate 45 degrees. Same thing, we're gonna select all of these and we're gonna make Pathfinder tool, delete the center, and now we need to add a center in our flower. I think it's really, really important with icons to kind of step back from what you're doing because you have to imagine these will probably be like this size on a page. They need to be readable from far away. So we're gonna steal this same shape that we used over here with the leaves. So we're just gonna come in here and start doing some adjusting. We're just going to shrink our leaves a little bit. Something I love is you can actually directly copy and paste into Adobe Express. So we have our little icon already there, look at her!
Yeah.
For water, come in with the polygon tool, do 3 points to create a triangle. So I'm basically just gonna make this tangent to this line. Pathfinder, combine them. We can scoot this guy over. Maybe we just play with scale just a little bit. We're gonna come draw a couple points.
Erasing that line.
I do think that's a little bit better. 2 ways of getting these into Adobe Express. You can directly copy them, like I was mentioning, or you can select them and drag them in to what's called libraries. just drag them into the libraries and they will show up there.
Oh.
So then when I go to Adobe Express, it'll show up. I wanted to show you guys something really cool. Generative Recolor. So what I did is I just filled random blocks with different shades that I'm after. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna go to Edit Colors, and Generative Recolor, and then we can give it a prompt. We could do like Valentine's Day. I feel like this actually really matches with kind of what we were going for. I'm gonna outline these strokes, object, path, outline stroke, and I'm gonna recolor these with our icons. Kind of fun. It's kind of all coming together.
Job. I think it looks wonderful.
Icons can fix all of your design problems, I'm convinced.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Awesome,
Yeah.
see you soon. Bye everybody.
Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of Adobe Live. I'm your host today, I'm Ted, and we have Tyler here with us. He's a graphic designer and illustrator, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what you're working on today, the theme, and a little bit more about your work.
Yeah.
Since I just met you today too, so it's pretty excited to connect together.
Yeah. So I'm a graphic designer and illustrator by trade. I've been in it. It's crazy. I was talking about this earlier. Been in it for over 10 years now, man. It creeped up on me. So I've been designing for studios and agencies and things like that. And I work full-time for Nickelodeon on the consumer product side.
Oh,
so that's kind of like the
amazing.
fun little juggle that I do.
Wow.
And then we get to have fun exploring with some creative stuff. So today, I started this actually on the earlier stream. We created this little avocado bag packaging in all vector, using a couple subtle textures and things like that. But what we're going to do today on this stream is we're going to take this to Photoshop and we're going to play around. So might have to get some pointers from you and see some brushes and things like that.
I'm excited to learn. This looks so good.
Yeah. So all this is now in Illustrator. I'm going to just kind of show quickly how I bring things over. I kind of like disassemble it a little bit, reassemble it back in Photoshop, and then I have a couple layers I can work in between. So
Let's get to it.
Let's go ahead and dive in here.
And let us know if you have any questions and where's everybody watching from, you know?
Yeah. It's fun. I always like to mix the vector and Photoshop stuff together. Like,
Does it affect the quality when you import? I haven't used Illustrator since like 10 years ago.
yeah. it's something that it's probably because I'm so familiar with Illustrator and I just love creating things in a way that I could scale it, and then I always have that to fall back on. And I think a lot of times if I just start in Photoshop, I could easily illustrate all this stuff, but you know, what if I do want to change it down the road and
That's true,
a huge billboard or something, who knows? But this gives me something I can fall back on, and it's like, all right, we got our bones, let's see what we can do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it over to Photoshop. Already got a document. Everything in this is pretty straightforward. I was just gonna say, like, let me see if I can remember. Yeah, this is all my settings. I'm just thinking of like a 10 by 10 type of art print here.
Perfect.
Yeah, 300 DPI.
Yeah, the bad's gotta stay with standard. Yeah,
we should be good there, right?
Yeah.
I usually typically start with that.
That's perfect. It's so interesting. Like our interface looks so different. Andrew and I were just talking about like how ours would look so different. Yours looks so different than mine too, which I love it. Yeah.
So do you ever work off of one of these drawing tablets?
Yeah, so I have it actually exactly the same one at
nice.
home. Yeah. But it's the same interface and everything. But I love it. Like if you guys use drawing tablet, if you never use it, try it. It changed your life. You know, save so much stress from your wrist and everything.
It does. I think it's so much easier and quicker to just kind of jump back and forth between things. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just kind of piecemealing this back together.
Oh, you can just copy and paste from Illustrator. What? I did not.
Yeah.
What?
And here's the best part. I can double click into these vector smart objects and it takes me back to Illustrator.
No way. I didn't know that. Wow. Do you guys know about that? That is crazy.
The vector DNA, man.
When did this happen?
I think it's always been there.
It's always been there. You can tell it's been a while since it's
It's okay. It's okay.
It's always been there. Wow.
But again, that's just kind of, for me, coming from the graphic design sensibility, where like I'm constantly having to use Illustrator for whether that's branding or any sort of marketing things that we're developing. So I'm just always in it, so I'm very familiar with that one, and I feel comfortable. So
yeah, that's amazing.
I like to start there. And you know, again, I'm just kind of reassembling this thing. There's a couple pieces that are overlapping. I want to kind of make sure they're
every layer is in the right order.
On the right order, exactly.
We have Jeanette watching from Montreal, Canada. That's amazing. I don't think have I been there? I haven't been there. I love the nature there. It's so pretty.
Oh, man.
Avocado. You know, like, I love avocado, but I also, like, hate buying it because every time I was ready to eat it, it's always, like, too late.
Yeah, you know.
I get very upset about it.
You know what I fall in line with is I think I'm very optimistic when I buy avocados. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make maybe tacos one night, and I'm going to have guac the next. And then I'll forget about doing either of those, and then I just have bad avocados.
Good thing it never expires on illustration file.
I know, at least like this, we're good.
Forever fresh avocado.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. All right, we've reassembled this little guy, and I'm gonna increase the size now. just so we can get, again, I'm thinking like an art print, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too crazy here. Just a good size. That should be good. I'm gonna go ahead now and just create a background real quick.
Yeah, do you have any like, what's your tips and tricks when it comes to like color selection for the background, the whole color theory? Anything you like to use, or just like kind of go with whatever different subject?
Keeping it simple.
Keep it simple.
Usually is the best move for me. So if I have an illustration like this one, we've already defined our color palette, and there's I don't know, there's probably like 5-6 colors maybe in that, maybe. I'll see which of these could be used as a background. So just clicking in. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, I think it's a stroke, isn't it? Yep. All right, making sure that this is not a stroke, it's a feel. And earlier on the first stream, we kind of already defined our background, and I think that actually was a good choice. I think we went with the yellow. I think we did something like that.
Ooh, that's
a
cool.
nice pop to it, right?
Nice.
So I think that actually looks pretty good, but I'm noticing that handle blends in now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's something fun that we were saying with jumping back into Illustrator.
Oh, that is weird seeing this is in action.
And then look at that. There's that. It's
That's
still
amazing.
in Illustrator. So I can go in here and you know what? It's like, this was something I had an idea for, but I don't know.
Still processing my head, you know, like all the numbers around my head is like, how does that work? The coding and everything.
It's the matrix.
How does that work? Yeah, how does that work? Amazing. It's been like out there for so many years. I still didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it helps your workflow, then by all means, I think it's something to explore. You're good. And again, I thought maybe the red, and then I realized, wait, that red is the background. So it's like that gets blend in with the background of this ribbon here. So I need to figure out a different color again. So maybe I'm just overcomplicating it. I'm just gonna stick to red. And you save it, automatically updates to your Photoshop file. So that's everything's connected in the Adobe universe. That's a nice perk. All right, so, but we're here for one thing. We're gonna try adding texture and things like that. So usually whenever I'm starting, we've got a couple different things separated here. So it makes it very easy for me to start building these out. I think with more time, let's think about like what these different things could be called, just to give us some organization here.
Nice.
Let's see, what's it, ABO.
Yeah, I really like the tool they brought into Illustrator, the Recolor tool.
Oh,
the AR
it's
Recolor.
so good, yeah.
I was like, can you guys bring that to Photoshop real quick? Just see. I don't know how that will work. I don't know if that will work or not, but.
Well, tell me this, because sometimes I'm constantly going back and forth with different adjustment layers just to see a color variant.
Yeah.
And then I'll back up to Illustrator again, and I'll like plug those colors back in. Sometimes I'm just using Photoshop as a way to like experiment with colors too.
Yeah, now I wonder if I can try like make an animal concept in Photoshop, put it into Illustrator, turn that to vectors, and do recolor.
Yeah, maybe. It might be an extra step we don't need, or might find it works.
Oh, you're naming all your layers as professional.
Trying to. And you're about to see exactly why.
Do you guys name your layers? Be honest. Type in chat. Let us know if you name your layers. As you can tell, I don't. Sometimes I sometimes do.
Depends on how much time, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so one reason I like to label my layers, I need to start seeing my background here. So here we go. Is because we're gonna start building these textures on top of it, and like working in Photoshop, it's so easy to like new layer.
It does, yeah.
And you lose track of where you are. So I'm gonna start grouping things like this, just so that we can get some categories that we can turn on and off. That's all we're doing. So I'm gonna start with this label here, and I'm gonna hold down Command, click on that, and you can see like that's highlighting everything there, which interesting enough, okay, because that's the whole piece. Okay, that should still be fine. So that highlighted everything that the vector is.
Just come in, left click right on the layers you want to select. Yeah.
Yeah, so then we can start building our textures. So let's see. I saw that you have quite a few, so I think I want to hear more about your process on texturing. But I have about 5 brushes that I use constantly, and sadly enough, I couldn't tell you where I got them because they've just accumulated over time.
Yeah, you kind of accumulate over time. Yeah, I almost lost it one time when I updated my Photoshop. I was like, oh no, but I found it back. Yeah, it's like because I feel like artists like you who are like more experienced with like drawing texturing, so you only need like 5 to get the texture you want, because you know how to like change it. But for me, it's just like I haven't mastered it yet, so I have like 5,000 different brushes for different scenarios.
Well, you never know, and that's a good way to just find out what you like.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely a few I use a lot. Just like, okay, I can do this and that.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and set up some of my layers and my format of everything a little bit more. I think that's good. So I've got this nice little noise fade. I think this brush might actually be from, this is a craft tone, so that's, who makes that? It might be True Grit. Maybe True Grit that makes that. But simple brush here, and I'm just gonna use, if you're using a drawing tablet, I've noticed, and here's a good question for you, if I'm just like clicking down, I get a different effect with the pen than I would the actual mouse.
Really?
Sometimes everything's so touch sensitive with this, it's adding pressure. So it'll give me some different textures that maybe I don't want. But if you do a click, it does a simple stamp.
Oh yeah, the click does different. Yeah, when I control it, it does it. But funny thing is that I kind of turn my pen pressure off.
Oh really?
So I don't really use pen pressure.
Oh, what?
I know. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but because I constantly use the opacity brush, like on the number changing, so it's kind of like constantly changes like 10%, 20% instead of like using pen pressure.
Yeah.
But now like eventually I'll probably need to learn how to use pen pressure. Yeah, so I actually turn it off.
Well, it's good for a lot of things that I'll do is kind of do more of like a painterly touch on top of my vectors. So I like that little.
No, I know, like when
but
actual content painting and drawing, I know like pen pressure is like way better.
Yeah.
But mine's just like simple, like, you know, light touch on the top, so I didn't need that.
Hey, that works, right?
But I do that when I need to do like fur painting or like brush grass, then the pen pressure to change the difference, right? The diversity of the brush,
Works, right?
Yeah.
So like, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just adding like this subtle noise texture to everything because I want it to feel, again, this is kind of like an abstract, like, paper quality to it, you know? So get a little more personality.
Yeah. So there's like a very light noise textures on there. I can see on your brush on the left side, like that square looking thing, that's the textures, right? Yeah,
so we zoom in, we can see it.
Look at all the detail you can't really see till you zoom in.
Yeah, a lot of people won't ever see this, but it's one of those where, again, if we're printing it, it might show up. But if we're going on, maybe it's just a social media post, it's probably going to show up, you know? So like, I like to have that flexibility. And then, you know, defining my layers of like my light noise, my dark noise, because what I'll go in there and do.
Among layers of the noise.
Yeah, because.
This is why you're a pro.
It's just
amazing.
Like those little, you know, productivity tips I've found like really help because I'm constantly going in there and seeing like, this works, this doesn't. Oh, let's flip this. Maybe we need to switch like our adjustment layers like up here to like some filters, because a lot of times I'll go to like these overlays and they just don't really show enough. But if you just go to like a multiply and then you just drop it down a little bit, then it's just, I'm able to get more control, you know?
That's amazing.
So that's like some little tips and tricks that I've learned, but I'm just building that base layer here. We're gonna go back.
Yeah, I tell you, doing multiple layers on top of that, because on some poster graphic design, I know they create like a textures with noise or just very simple one layer, but you kind of change the blending mode, so in fact based on the highlights and shadow that already exist on the photography for graphic design, but yours is like you painting every shades and tunes, so you have to full control it and then have like different effects on that.
And that's again, it's all about, you know, your process or how you like to work, but I like that option of being able to flip back and forth, you know, like kind of A/B test it. So like, maybe this works, but I don't know until I see it, and a lot of times I'm just very visual and it helps to see it, so I have that option to change it.
Can you say, with all this AI stuff going on, he named all his layers now like Billy, Timmy, just in case they become like sentient self-aware and come after me. What's my name?
Seriously, a little avocado.
That's so cool.
So I'm just like seeing, you know, if I want to add more or less, and then if I get in here, then I'll just turn this into a. Oh, what is this? Watch quick video. I don't need to see you.
I wonder if you can turn that off, because it's always
on
when you hover the mouse above it. Yeah. It kind of like give new users like a quick understanding of like what this tool does, right?
Yeah. I think you can in the settings. I don't want to explore too much.
No, don't worry about it now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch to my eraser tool real quick, and I'm just gonna pick again. My best friend in here is probably the simplest brushes. I was just like a taper. I love a nice, like a sharp taper and then maybe some sort of feather taper. So something like this, and again, it gets back to the pressure sensitivity.
Yeah, I know.
Some of these are pressure sensitive, so we get to really have that control.
Wait, can you show them how you set up your brush real quick with the pressures and everything?
Yeah, so you can, I think if you double click, I know, since these are like found, I didn't make them, but you can go in here and like change it. I think if you go into like, there's like a settings menu somewhere in here.
Yeah,
and you can,
I think like when you
change that.
select those bars,
Yeah.
that has like give you options of like pressures and everything.
Yeah, so I don't really adjust those too much because I just have the preset of what it already was.
Nice.
But what I do make sure is I always make sure my spacing is back down to 1 or as close to 0 as I can get, and then hardness I'll
Yeah, so
sometimes
basically
adjust.
spacing is like if you have 0, it's just like a continue brush.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But if
so
you
we
have
can see
space,
how
it
that
becomes
goes.
like there's space between every time you drag it. So it depends how you want to use it. Like that he's showing, yeah.
And I think you have a really good eye for like the cloud brushes I saw you using earlier.
Yeah, I
So
love that brush. Yeah.
those are perfect for spacing, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to do it like that.
Because I'm doing click by click. I'm not
Yeah,
dragging
yeah,
it. Yeah.
So with these, I like to have no spacing, so I can kind of get in here. I'm gonna make this a little bit larger, and then I'm gonna kind of like delete some of the centers where it gets a little too textured.
Yeah, let's zoom in closer so they
See,
can see.
it cleans it up a bit, so I'm able to really define a highlight on these shapes, give it a little more personality.
That's cool.
Because I think like too much of that white noise texture is just, it just doesn't give me the look that I like. But if we go in there and we can adjust them, and then since we labeled everything, we know exactly where we are. And by doing this layer mask, if it stops, it's like a little dog.
Yeah.
But by doing it a layer mask, I still retain that final texture,
Yeah,
which
the
helps.
dogs just keep popping.
Hi, dog.
I think it's because the sensitivity on the tablet, so it's sensing the mouse or the hands like above
Yeah.
it. So it's like, hey, would you like to learn about how the dog or the layer mask work? That's pretty funny.
And I haven't had time to set this up yet, so it's one of those. Let's see what the
That's some
defaults
technical
do.
issue, but everything's running smooth right now.
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. The little dog, is he good? Let's see if he's good. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. Okay. I think I'm getting close to being finished with that base layer. You know, one last thing before I get into the other details, I'm gonna do a nice subtle texture to the background itself. Again, I want everything to have a little more depth, but that nice subtle noise is really fun to play with. So I'm gonna jump back to this brush, and let's see. Just gonna click around, trying to make sure I fill up the entire area, just like that. So how's the chat doing? Any comments? Did anyone illustrate back and forth between Illustrator and Photoshop? Because I feel like some people have preferences.
I mean, I barely open Photoshop. I mean, Illustrator. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, I have like all the apps. Sometimes just like click it by accident. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you for a while.
I gotta get out of there.
Yeah, you open the whole interface. It's like, oh god, this looks scary. Like, where am I?
I know it gets like that sometimes.
I do want to learn like concept art drawing, like matte painting. I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So that is something I do want to learn more, because it's just so fun.
Yeah.
If I ever do like storyboard, it's just so much.
Oh,
Like,
it's really cool to see
that's
where
so
people can
good,
take
yeah.
that. Okay, so I added a nice little subtle, consistent noise is kind of my foundation. So what I'm gonna jump into now is gonna switch my brush up. I have this other, just it's a subtle noise again, but it's slightly different. Let me see if I can find it up here. Where are you at? Might not have it on my machine, but it's fine if we don't, because we can pivot and switch to a different brush. Where are you at? I always get, do you ever get lost when you're looking for brushes?
So I'm so lost. I don't
just know the
remember
number.
what I have.
I couldn't tell you what it's actually called.
So what I did is I create a new brush with like just the words, and that's big enough so when I'm scrolling through, I can see what that section is.
Yeah.
I think you could group it or like label it differently, but I'm always pretty lost when it comes to. I spend like good 5 minutes just like checking what brush do I have.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's a scary place.
I know. Okay, so I think this one will work fine. I'm just adding more layered texture. Like this one's a little darker. It's less fine. It's got more like speckles in there. Laid that down, and I'm gonna go in with the again the eraser, and I'm just gonna slightly erase it on areas that it just clashes with the color too much. Because I want that yellow to really just come out at you.
Yeah.
So
then we can zoom in a little bit closer.
Yeah. So like,
I know you can see, but I don't know if they can see on the screen. Yeah.
It's real subtle because like it's hard to really see what I'm deleting, but it's happening. So you notice in the letters, it's just gonna get a little more subtle. Here, a little more subtle. And, if we turn this on and off,
you can
very
see better.
subtle.
Yeah.
But I guess my process and really what if you ever try is it's about layering. It's a lot of these textures together, and those textures start speaking volumes when you get the right amount.
It's like imagine you using this pen, just like keep dotting on the paper.
Stippling,
The more you do, the more like value and the weight it puts onto the paper, right? So you're doing the same thing with this design.
Trying to do that too. I'm gonna get outside of layering some of these just with time, but layer and also save. We need to save. Okay, so this is another texture brush. This has a little paper grain to it. Check this one out. This is a really fun one if you haven't ever used it. Like, look at that.
Oh wow,
right?
That's cool. See, I can throw into if you're doing portrait photography, that's like that vintage look you have.
Yeah, that's a really good.
But then you can just pen this so it looks more. What do you call that? More dynamic, I guess. Is that the word? Yeah. It looks more real, right? Like an actual chemical accident that create that textures onto the photo.
Less like purposeful and more accidental.
Exactly,
like you said.
But you designed the whole thing, right? So you're the mastermind behind your art.
That's cool. So like I'm layering this, and I'm just kind of deleting some of the harsher tones that I'm seeing in here as I'm looking over it. That's fine. And I'm making sure that I have that selection. You always want to make sure you're selecting the right thing so you can then add texture only on top of that object.
Mine just click, 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 click. Like an infinity clipping.
Okay, so we got this, and you know what? I might actually start to do a little shadow, and I'm gonna kind of freeform this shadow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, since this label is on its own layer, anything we do underneath, so we could do it on this avocado layer. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Be a nice little shadow.
You know that avocado meme song of that lady sing avocado?
Do you want to sing? I don't know.
I don't know if we can sing it, but it's just like it's stuck in my head every time you say avocado. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a song.
No, she just go like avocado. It's a silly song you can find on YouTube.
We gotta look
She's
that
just
up.
enjoying it, the avocado music. It's just like, I don't know if the chat know which song I'm referring to, but if you go on YouTube, type avocado song, you can find it while you can play in the background watching. We're doing artwork.
I know that makes it real meta, doesn't it? We need guac right now. I need to illustrate this.
Oh, she also sing about guacamole in the same song, so it's.
And then we need to listen
good.
to that song.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so I see you're adding the shadow under the under that package.
Label.
Under that label, there
but
is
on
shadow.
the avocados themselves, so it's kind of giving more depth to it. And I think that helps kind of define a style if you're exploring what's a way to make this your own. Because I want to retain some of that flat side, but I don't want to keep all of it. I always like to see what some of these different filters could do. Might end up finding one that might really make these colors transition nicely.
Yeah, this comes to like the concept ideas and execution, right? Like it is 10,000 people could be making the same avocado package, but then you add in your own elements and take into it, and that's what make it different and stands out from it. You know? So don't be scared or worry if you guys want to try some idea that you saw online, right? But make sure to add your own twist into it, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and again, if you saw the first stream earlier, I had a mood board, and that mood board's showing different things that feels like some of it. It's like, oh, it's the sticker that looks like this, but it's
grab it, put it together,
and it's like, all right, I got to put my own twist on it, and then really bring it together. But bring it in here just takes it to a different level, because then we're like, well, I know there's nothing like this. We just did something original. So that part's fun. Just tweaking the shadows a little bit. And check that out. That's cool. I might even get on top of this label once more and then do the same sort of thing, right? Because I think what I'm seeing with how this packaging and the world it's in, it's like the clasp where the handle is up here kind of comes to a point, right? Because that's where you would hold it. So technically this shadow line that I had that was a vector, maybe we can just heighten it a little bit. Just kind of paint that in there. And then I can put some effects on it just so I can set it back a little bit, because it just feels a little unrealistic and not the nuance I want. So I'll just do a multiply and I'll just adjust that down. I'll even come back in. It's a lot of give and take. I'll delete a little bit like that.
It's becoming so like 3D right now.
Yeah.
Coming off on the flat 2D, not just like it's like coming towards you, right? Breaking that dimension is so cool to see that.
And we started with a vector, right?
Yeah.
How cool was that?
So I gotta go do grocery after this. I'm just kidding. Then I wonder what I want. Avocado maybe.
Okay, so I think that's fine. I'm not actually gonna do those. Okay, so I think we're getting our textures kind of layered. We're starting to get some more dimension to it. I think we could start adding maybe some white noise. I think that's what it's kind of missing, because this dark noise sometimes just mutes it a little too much for what I like. So again, rather than going back to that original white noise layer, start a new one. And then you're able to not only layer those textures, but it's placing those little dots in different places every time you use it.
That's cool.
So it's kind of filling it in a little differently, which is really nice to see. So let's see. So what's your go-to brush? Like what's your favorite kind of brush?
A regular soft one. The default one is my favorite. And then the cloud one I like to use the wave splash, because it actually comes to a lot of like particle, dust, rocks,
that's a good one.
Wave and everything, and I use those the most. I might need to retire those hairbrush. They're horrifying.
I heard about that.
They worked great before. I barely use them anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, so sometimes I like to look what else I haven't tried it out. Just like kind of like have an idea and concept of what I'm looking for, and looking for a similar brush, test it out, see if I can get the similar effect.
Yeah. You know, it's really common, and I think it's cool to have that conversation as an artist, because we have those similar points where it's like, I'm going to try this out. It's all very experimental sometimes. And it's like, maybe it works today, but not tomorrow.
So it's always fun. And then, I love just finding like people who are giving their brush away for free. They have like a whole set of pack. Usually like they're promoting like their new drop in art. Just like, hey, check out this cloud brush. I have like 100 in there. And I was like, sure, I'll get it. Like 50,000.
15,000.
Yeah, I was like, sure, I'll get all that 50,000. I'll only use 2, but I love it.
I need this download. I feel like that sometimes with fonts. It's like, I don't need all these fonts.
Oh, I originally found out I'm really bad at font design. I think I'm guessing it's not my language, so I don't sense the emotion. I don't know, but I show my friend some of my design. They're like, go back to work on it. I was like, okay. I was like, oh, whoops.
It just takes a little practice.
I can do the visual. The words, they're hard for me. But yeah, so many like cool new fun was added to Photoshop and Illustrator. I was like, oh, that's like nice.
You want to know what I'm doing right here? I think is
what are you doing?
Best reason to have a pressure sensitive pen or drawing tablet.
Crease on the paper, or
that's what I'm gonna add. Add a little imperfection, and it's so much easier with
the detail. So you literally really need to order a print of this to see all the detail that you put in there.
And even if it doesn't show up completely, it's interesting how the subtleness of it. Because if you start layering it, you're gonna see some sort of visual language happening that's going to be original to yourself, or even what we're trying to depict. And I'm just kind of like being real delicate with this. Trying to think about imperfections on like the ink that's printed on there. Like it would get scratched off if it was on the shelf.
That's such a cool detail that you add in there. Because for me, it's just like I use photo blending. So they're kind of like the existing object already. So I kind of like get to skip that. But when it comes to design, that's such a important details that people often like don't really notice, right? You don't notice till you really dig close into it, or watch a time lapse, or you ask the artist, right? Oh yeah, how'd you get that line there, right?
I think 9 times
Yeah.
out of 10 it's something so simple. It's like, oh, of course. Okay, so what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna turn off all these textured layers to get back down to the this is the plain label, nothing else happening. And this is where I'm gonna start doing more like the painter-esque type approach. So I'm gonna select, and the reason I take all those layers down or turn them off is so I can select the original color that I want to kind of reveal underneath this graphic. I'm thinking of it as a graphic on a piece of paper, so it needs to be scratched off a little bit. So I'm thinking like, see how I'm doing this?
Oh, yeah, you need to zoom in closer so we can all see.
Yeah, so we're gonna get in here and we're just gonna kind of like tear this thing up a little bit.
This is
you
the
know?
scratch.
Yeah, distress it a little bit. Put some scratches in there.
Wow.
Kind of creating that visual language, right?
Now I know why it's called textures with you, and there's like so many details hidden in there.
Yeah.
Wow. See, like I would have like stopped in the first step. I was like, oh, I got a graphic. This is cute, you know, right? But then all of these little details in there. That's amazing.
This is the fun stuff. At least I enjoy this quite a bit, and I think one of those bigger questions I get is, and I think I had it earlier today, which is when do you know when it's finished? When do you know when to stop? And a lot of times, it's about getting that right formula, and that formula gets fleshed out when we're zoomed in like this, and we're back and forth. Just seeing what works, because sometimes I've gone through this process and it didn't work, and
really?
I have to delete all these layers because I'm trying to have that story to say just right, because you could add too much of this detail and it looks like a mess,
That's true.
or it looks fake, or it looks weird.
So have it ever happened that you put so much detail on it and then you forgot to save?
It's happened, right? I need to save right now. That's a good reminder.
That's what chat was talking about. I was like, oh yeah, let's save the file real quick.
It happens.
It definitely happens.
Man, and that's one reason I started switching over to adding my texture in Photoshop, because it's a little bit more lenient with my machine.
Yeah.
Because I can do a good bit of detail and texture in Illustrator, and I put a little bit of on this avocado.
Yeah.
But it really will slow my machine down. So it's like, all right, that's not helping me get it finished.
It's because it's like in
It's a lot of processing,
because
because
you're adding small objects and everything.
So think about this stroke that I did that was in Illustrator. That's completely scalable.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that will stress your machine down.
So
yeah.
it's a lot to really comprehend. So I understand why it bogs our machine down.
50, 40, 90.
Yes.
You can see the future with that.
I know. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my little run overs with this, just messing it up a little bit, putting some personality on it.
Nice.
And zoom it out, constantly in and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
Get
Just
all
getting
the
it right.
details in there.
Switch my color so the green shows through on this. Where I'm at. Just stuff like this, a little nice distress.
Someone asked, do any of the hosts use actions on Photoshop for their work? Do you use actions sometimes, or?
If I'm doing photo edits,
Photo edit,
I'll definitely do actions for that. But whenever it's stuff like this,
it has to be hand painted, right? Yeah. There's no actions used for this yet. I can't think of.
Yeah, I can't think of one either, because it feels like there's so many nuances to it that I don't know. I don't know if it's really just a blanketed thing. I could probably do it for some of the lighting effects I do later, but yeah, I haven't.
Unless you're generating, like, if you constantly need to generate a blank canvas filled with 50% grain and then adding the grain textures onto it to use on overall, then you don't want to keep doing that process. You can create an action for it. I think this requires more hand going in. As you say, like photo editing, do skin retouching, background remove. You don't even need actions right now, just one click, right?
Right?
So skin retouch, probably gonna become one click soon too, right?
It's just gonna be a quick, we're gonna blink our eyes actually, and it's gonna
reduce and just. I used to have a lot of like actions that I stopped using it because I kind of enjoy just doing it on the go. Yeah. Until I forgot how to do something, I was like, oh yeah, I wish I have that action saved.
Yeah, it helps. It's good to have the option. I'm a big believer in having the option. Not necessarily have to use it every time, because sometimes especially if I'm making, let's say a product mock-up that might not exist, like this is a book bag exploratory, So we're making custom zippers and things like that, and I'll kind of like
Yeah, that's true.
Photoshop some things in there. I'm painting it almost.
That's true.
But I'll get the lighting just right, so it's like, oh, that's built.
Lighting's so important.
Yeah, you're a master at that.
Nah,
too.
I still got so much to learn. Thank
It's
you. But
good,
yeah, perspective is my weakness. But
Really?
I don't know how to explain it correctly. But I know how to like if it's looking right or wrong because taking photo
that's the
it's just like
biggest
easy
part.
to mesh. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, I struggle with that for a long time, and I'm, like you said, we're all learning, and it's never like a point to where you finish. You think you finally made it, and then you realize, oh, I just saw somebody else do something that was like
I know,
insane looking. Okay, I think I'm adding probably a little too much with my time of texture, but I think this is getting my point across. You see how like that in looks? That looks.
I was just thinking that
Nice and
this
rough.
remind me of, like all those like comic details on the panels and everything, right? You see all the
the
tiny
little-
detail.
yeah,
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's brush that on, and I can even switch this. Maybe I go to like one of these texture brushes I got. Let's see what we got here. Maybe ink splatter. And I haven't used some of these, so it's I don't even know. Might work.
Yeah, try it. Show
That looks cool. Look at
the
that.
chat. Yeah.
Just to give that reveal underneath the type. Imagine like if this was a sticker, if this was like ink on a piece of cardstock, it got scratched off.
Yeah,
That's how
or
I'm
like
thinking.
when it's transporting with the cargo truck.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
It was raining that day. The truck has a little bit
Yes.
mold that when you
Yes.
got it out, it got a little bit onto the package, right?
And I like that you said that because I'm gonna switch. I had it's a water texture,
Oh, nice.
which I like to use. And I don't think I uploaded all of my new ones. I got a new machine a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I always forget to upload everything that I use
I know.
sometimes. Let's see. I think this might. Yeah, this will work. This will work.
Yeah, it
Alright.
comes to like customize your brush. I keep forgetting how to do it sometimes. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
do you do black and white and black, and then you like do like the square thing.
Mhm.
Let me watch YouTube real quick.
All right. Yeah, that's the best part.
Watching like 5 times speed because you kind of know
Mhm.
most of it already.
Yeah, just skim it until I find the part I want. Okay, so this is like a water brush, kind of like a water. What is it? Watercolor
Yes.
brush.
Oh, like a water damage. That
Exactly.
is
So-
cool. What?
So here's the thing. I'm gonna layer this thing, and then I'm gonna show
I need
you.
that brush. That's cool. It's like water damage because you can
Mhm.
do a lot of like wall textures.
So what I like to do
Wow.
is switch this to like an overlay, and then I'll do one more. Switch my colors over. I'll do a white.
Oh, like an actual
So
color.
it's- So now it's more of a highlight. Drop that down to overlay.
That's cool.
See which one of these works best.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I love that. Do you remember when you used to don't have the preview part? You kind of just have to like
Oh,
changing
yeah.
every single layers.
Yeah.
Thanks team to bring that to the preview. It saves so much time. And it's
Really
easy for
does.
a new user to understand it.
Mm-hmm. Just to see what's changing.
So that
right?
water damage brush, I don't have that. I need to collect it. I don't know.
And
what I'm gonna
there's
use it
quite a
with.
few out
Yeah.
there. That's the
Yeah.
funny thing is, some of these things, making your custom brush, it's great. If you could do it, spend the time on it. But a lot of times, and I'd love to hear what you think, because we're working on projects and it's like there's such a turnaround. We don't have time to really explore
That's
creating
true,
custom
yeah.
brushes. So it's like, what's the quickest solution to me getting to where I need to go?
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like, I know where I'm going to execute this. Let's just get this brush. So finding a good brush source be a game changer.
Brush. They should start doing like a brush giveaway. I don't know, on live. Just like,
Yeah.
hey, join today's stream. You get like Tyler's like top 50 pick brush or like top 10 brush. You should try. Top 10 brush you should try today. Yeah. The professional people hate this brush secret.
Yeah, one of those little headliners is
Yeah.
what we need.
The local professional hate this secret.
The industry hates this when I found out.
Yeah, when I found out this top 10 brush.
Yeah.
That's free today.
That's exactly it. I'm just going to add a little highlight to some of these effects.
Sounds like those are probably not fresh avocado. They're still fresh. It's just the package is a little bit damp.
Yeah.
Yeah, the avocado is still fresh,
Yeah, this avocados are
Just
perfect.
don't turn around, right? You look away, you look back, it's like, whoa, the whole avocado is like...
Yeah, they're completely bad on
Yeah.
the other side. These are just
yeah, that
went through
water
some shipping.
express, that is nice touch.
This is
I
a
like
nice
that.
touch,
That
right?
is
Like
nice, yeah.
when I started exploring, just gets back to what we were saying earlier. Just figuring out what brushes work on top of each other
Yeah.
and exploring that, was able to find a good
I do
little-
want to create a brush that just do like a light haze, right? It's like
Okay.
casting light, so it
Yeah.
has shadow on the back. Because I always kind of hand painted it, but
Uh-huh.
somehow I can't get it right.
Yeah.
If there's like a preview or something I can use.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe that's one of those little like projects we have to make for
that's
ourselves.
true,
It's like,
yeah.
all right, this weekend I'm gonna make a brush, and then we can give it away, or maybe
that's
sell
true.
it.
I know I'm gonna be like laying on the couch, like, oh, I'm tired.
Okay, so I'm just adding some more subtle details. Just
So
kinda
you're
follow
drawing another highlight on the top of the edge. Is that what you're doing?
trying to just follow as
Follow
close as I
shadow, yeah.
want. You know, I'm not precise on it, but
Kind of give it a little bit more textures onto that.
yeah, because you know what helped me to understand at least my approach on this was researching, like finding pieces of paper, holding something that maybe is more plastic than paper.
Mm-hmm.
So you realize it has crinkles on it. It has these weird highlights.
Right.
You know, think about if you had something that had a foil on it. If you crinkle it up and fold it back out,
There's
some of the
different
foil
textures on
falls
there,
off.
yeah.
You
So
know,
you
so
can
I'm-
scratch it, yeah.
Like knowing those different materials really help illustrate it. You know?
So we do have to go outside and touch grass. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, seriously.
We can just stay on our basement and use our
Uh-huh.
imagination. We actually have to go outside sometime to experience the textures around it.
Yes. Or you just go to Adobe Stock and then you look at
That's
some
true.
reference.
Because you know, like we have Adobe Fireflies and everything that generated. Is there a way that you can take a photo of a textures that you want to use and then like kind of like put it into automatically like generate the brush based on that?
Oh, you know, I think there was a feature Adobe might have had.
They
At least
never
where
have
it would kind of curate
Oh no,
these
they do.
textures.
Yeah, they do. They
It was
do
on
have
it was
it.
an app.
Yeah,
Which was I've heard a lot of people talk about
Sparks. It was Sparks, I think.
Is that what it was?
But I think they
never
do
used
have
it.
that on Fireflies. I have to ask Andrew.
Yeah.
Like, you guys can ask for
Is
me in the
anyone in the
office
chat
hour.
room?
Yeah, I think there is. Well, I guess there is reference styles and structure reference for that.
Okay.
Adobe Capture. There you go.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out. I was like pointing at everything I can think of. You know?
Okay, so I just turned all my texture layers back on. Look at everything together. So we're able to now see how everything's working. And this is a good point to maybe jump back in and see where everything's at and see what we might need to adjust. Because we might want to turn some of this watercolor effect down a little bit. Change the opacity. I'll even put a mask on this and then go in there and start deleting some of it, or at least masking it out.
That's so cool.
Just so it's like heavy right there. I want it a little lighter. It's heavy up here, a little lighter.
Nice.
Because remember that crease that we have. Imagine that wrapper kind of folding over.
Plastic is the creases are like not too strong, right? Because they kind of bounce back when you fold. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So
Yeah, I recently learned about that when there's like 5 level of different how you see pictures in your head.
Yeah.
Level 1 is that you barely see, you just see the words or thought of it, and then level 5 like you can see every textures and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing in level 5 kind of.
yeah. It's funny because this is the kind of stuff that I notice whenever I'm grocery shopping or something. I'll pick up a product and I look at it and it's like, oh, these
Nice.
are fun little finishes on how the print was.
Ah.
Or this is glass, so how would a glass jar reflect? if we're
Yeah, the
illustrating?
glass
So
is hard to mimic. Yeah,
thinking of those
so much
things,
detail.
it gets really tricky, but
Even like this plastic
exactly
thing too. There's a lot of
Yeah.
different little scratches and textures on here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how do we
see
depict
all
that?
the things?
So I like to bring a lot of
That's
that
cool, yeah.
into
It's
my
like-
style.
Set design, right? With like some if you're doing like a vintage house, you put like dust, the spider webs at the corners, those little tiny details,
Yeah.
right? Like the story we're telling, you know.
Yeah, that's really how I would describe it. It is about the story that we're trying to tell
That's
with
cool.
our artwork.
Yeah, because like if it's just at first I was like, okay, it's just a bag of avocado.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh, it's being scratched. It's being through places. And I was
seen
like,
some
oh, there's a
things.
little bit of water damage got splashed on it. But hey, the avocado is still fresh.
Yeah. So let's see what we can. Maybe like the vivid light, hard light. Tone it down a little bit.
That is so cool. Do people ever get your artwork as like tattoo on them?
I haven't seen it. If so, it would be fun.
Hey, Chad, we need someone get
Yes.
a temporary avocado tattoo on there.
Yes, tag me. The
Wait, but
creative
then
pain.
like, does that mean the tattoo artists have to mimic the same texture you're doing? That's gonna hurt, right?
I don't know how he's gonna do that, man.
We gotta add a little water splash.
Yeah, that may or may not get infected.
You do the temporary tattoo. It's just
Yeah.
like the stickers.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll
that'll
do
be
that.
easy. Yeah, that'll be easy.
Just a random avocado bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so more little touch-ups here and there.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump to a different step, which we can close all these layers. And I think what is another fun part is playing around with my adjustment layers. So I always start with a curve. I love to explore with my curve. Let's see what happens if we start adjusting our reds.
I see.
So just seeing what happens with these textures, because a lot of times it'll either remove them or bring them in a bit more.
You have 5 more minutes.
This is perfect
Friendly
time.
Reminder, yeah, the time is great.
So I think we're gonna land on more of the warmer tone like that. Round it off with a nice RGB curve, something like that. I mean, we're really there. Like, check that out. I mean, it's subtle. It's a subtle thing, but when you get in there and you start seeing these close-ups, and you'll see that in a lot of my previous work. Like, I like to have that kind of hyper-realistic look, but it's always got that vector foundation. So I like to start there.
So cool. I don't think I know anybody's work that's like yours.
Thanks.
That's so cool. You get to
Yeah.
discover your work today. That is so nice.
I'll do a little vibrance too. I know we're running close on time at this point, but I think these little details.
Yeah, if you had
Not
more
really
time, you
sound
would
it.
like work on more details, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and-
avocado, shadow casting.
The fun thing is usually these streams I'll always spend about an extra hour. Honestly, if I'm being honest, it's probably extra 4
Yeah.
hours on these, and then
Yeah.
I'll post it later. So
Nice. So we get to
Check
like
in.
see later when you post it on your social media.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I can't wait.
So if you're following
yeah.
along for this, you got to see the vector, and then now you got to see the Photoshop, and
That's
then at the
cool,
end you're gonna see
yeah.
what happens if you put a little bit more time into it and
Like
just
the
add
final-
the
oh, I can't
same
wait
sort
to
of
see,
stuff.
yeah.
So we'll land on a really fun piece. So I mean, this is it pretty much. I would fine tune a couple things here and there, but again,
Yeah.
it's
What would
all
be
there.
like something you will add in the next like 4 hours? Just describe it real quick in 1 minute.
You know what I would do in the next couple hours is like I would immediately go back to my vector here.
Mhm.
I would do a mask on that,
Yeah.
and then I would just get a sharp taper brush, and I would just start masking
cutting
tears
it. Oh.
on the edges like this.
Oh wow.
So, and here's the best part is like I would then start bleeding those into tears. See how that starts looking like?
yeah.
You start getting these little tear
So you're going to
effects.
the whole
So
details
the
on the
whole
side.
edge, I would start chipping away. So a good spot for that. I would probably completely remove this corner
Mm-hmm.
and then paint in a fold. So then I would have like a piece of folded.
Oh wow.
texture
Wow,
in
they're
there.
going full detail.
So that would easily be done with just my brush, and I'll just kind of paint it in there like so, and then put it behind here,
That's so cool.
and then you just kind of finesse it. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. Talk about color theory. It's just you start messing with those hues and highlight colors, you can fake it pretty easily, to where it looks just like a little fold.
Oh yeah, so recently,
See, like, look at that.
yeah, my friend and I would discover this game called Color. So it has like the whole chart of like different color squares.
Yeah.
And then the player get to like say they pick a card that has color on it. They pick a color, and then they say objects or something that's like
Yeah.
related to that color, and then the other player have to guess which color and
nice.
color code. So it's really fun for designer to
That's
practice
awesome.
and use. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
that's probably like the minor details I would probably do.
Yeah.
Next is just like defining, like, all right, maybe it's a tear up here. You know, think about maybe it's like a weird crease that comes in here because that's where it's gonna bend a lot.
Nice. Yeah. It's keep
know?
getting like holding, like moving
Yeah.
around, grabbing.
You know, maybe
That's
even
cool.
going in and it's like, what if this was like a cut cord? You know, like the bag is falling apart. You know, so it's like it's
Cut
starting
it
to
open,
just
an avocado
dissolve.
like fall out or something.
Yeah, so it's like,
that's
what if
cool,
this was
yeah.
a tear? Like a tear in this would be pretty easily. So we just kind of like break it out right there.
Oh, we have 1 minute left. So do you want to like kind of like go over where we can find you, social media and work and stuff?
So you can definitely find my social media, the Creative Pain. You can find that on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Constantly making tutorials and different videos similar
Nice.
like these. So I'll usually focus it to like vector stuff. So I'll walk through how to create, some graphics, some illustrations, some custom brushes.
Oh, custom
So
brushes,
things like
very
that
important.
I'm constantly showing on there. And then it's just kind of my portfolio. So you get to see all the stuff that I'm working on, get to see some of the things that maybe, inspires you to make some avocados. I don't know.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's it for today with texturing your vector designs with Tyler. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is very exciting. I hope you guys learn a lot of new things. I learned so much with textures and everything. So like very excited to steal some brushes and ideas from there. And stick around. I think at 1 p.m. we have office hour. Is that correct? Or yes, coming out next 1 p.m. So yeah, thanks for being here,
Awesome.
everyone. I'll see you till the next one.
See ya.
Bye.